Just say you, I need to get you in my side and for the hide. 어둠을 홀로 가지 않도록 같은 곳을 향해 있어 두렵지 않아. 침묵 속에 커져가는 고통과 절망의 눈을 향해서 화를 겨눈다. 멈춰설 수 없어. We stand together. 남겨진 수명의 영혼을 언제라도 지켜낼 수 있게 어둠을 뚫고 길을 열어 빛에 사는 꿈을 다시 이어갈 수 있도록 어디라도 네 뒤에 내가 있어. 저 빛의 영원히 절망을 뚫고 별이 된다. And for the sinner 눈 감아 깊게 우려봐. 무엇 하나 영원하진 않아. 하지만 널 지킬 거야. I keep you safe in your life. 어둠을 뚫고 빛이 피어나야. 승리를 위해 활을 켜고 끝나지 않은 소리 다시 이어갈 수 있도록 어디라도 네 뒤에 내가 있어. 저 빛의 영원히 절망을 뚫고 별이 된다. And for the sinner And for the sinner. 자, 나가서 소리 질러. 자, 다같이 리듬 맞춰서 거친 심장 소리마저도 가려진 듯한 터질 듯한 함성에 포기할 수 없는 이유가 누구보다 날 강하게 만들어. 이렇고 잊고 일어서 승리의 부름에 답해. Here I am. 근데 여기까지 왔으니 나의 모든 걸 바쳐. We will stand. 오직 하나만이 남는 곳 마지막을 향해서. 네, 다시 한번 소리 한번 질러봅시다. 좋아요. 나비 서 있는 정적 속에 같은 숨소리 울려 퍼지고 있어. 알잖아 그 모든 시련은 오직 이 순간 나를 위해 했던 거야. 기다고 잊고 일어서 승리의 부름에 답해. 마지막으로 한 번 더 소리 질러! 승리의 부름에 답해 Here I am 그래 나를 믿고 왔으니 이제 멈출 수 없어 We will stand 승리를 위해서가 아닌 나를 얻기 위해서 Hear the
월드 챔피언십 싱글 파이널 한원성과 함께 시작하겠습니다.
찬시에 이어서 하늘까지도 오늘 저희의 멋진 경기를 위해 도와주고 있는 거죠.
월드 챔피언십 박수로 만나주십시오. 챔피언십 싱글 파이널 이곳 부산 영화의 전당에서 불소 팬들과 함께하고 있습니다. 진심으로 다가간 축하의 박수를 부탁드립니다. 시작하겠습니다.
이런 일정 자정들 이게 블루의 힘이요.
가장
첫 번째 집중력
그 최후의 비문을 앞둔 주인공들을 여러분께 소개합니다. 지금부터 시작하겠습니다.
중국에 들어갈 수 있어요. 스타트 걸려서 고양이 잼스가
Welcome everyone to the Olympic Park Velodrome here in Seoul, South Korea, as we are here for 2019 Bladeandsoul Tournament World Championships. And here we are once again back for another year, and it is the grand finals. My name is Jill Sophie, joining with me for another grand year is going to be ending life. And we come through this ending once again, another year, this time a brand new topic that we have to talk about. Shackle, now it's a brand new game mode that we have in Bladeandsoul and trying it out competitively for the first time this year. How do you feel about it so far?
Well, so far, I think it's very interesting that Bladeandsoul have moved on into Battle Royale, and this is the first year for Worlds, like you just mentioned, the league as well. And I think it's pretty fun. It shows the the style of each region, each team, where they prefer to fight, or they prefer to kind of stay back and play passive. And use that term, camping, right? Like some people or some teams love camping, and even in the Korean scene, we've seen a lot of teams camp. So like today in this Worlds, we only have 10 teams, so a total of 30 players. So it's gonna be a total different show that's in front of us, because during the regular qualifiers, we've seen 50 plus players. We've seen even 60 players full all the way in one game. So I don't know. I'm very excited for today. How about you?
I mean, you talk about 10 teams ending, we have 30 players here, but we start off with 9 different regions represented by 2 teams each. And It's come a long way for all these 10 teams to get here, because now it is the final stage where many of those regions that have survived thus far has one more chance to really clinch themselves to be the World Champions this year, because we knew that years before 2018, our last World Championship, it's been all about Korea, winning the World Championship every single year. It's almost scripted, and we thought we knew it was going to win in 2018. But it did surprise us that Russia came out with a little bit of a surprise, and just they really deserved it in the end to win it all. And coming in 2019, we have a lot more diversity here in the finals because of the format that we have with Shackled Owls, and it's going to be very interesting to see how these different regions, with most of them being represented right now in this grand finals, to see how they do.
Yeah, exactly. And you talk about and say that most regions are able to represent their regions, other than NA and Japan. The 2 regions out of the 9 that did not make it to the final stage. So good luck to them next year in the next year's Worlds. However, you also mentioned Blackout, right? The last year's
Yes.
World Champions. They're here again as the same team, but in a different game mode, right? Last year it was mix and match, the 1v1s and the 3v3s. They were great, and they deserved the win. And I was very happy that it wasn't a Korea that was taking the championships. But this year, I want to see if they're able to do that in this, new mode.
And it really is true, because a lot of teams have really come up to the stage here in Korea to go through the qualifying rounds of their domestic rounds, then to come here and to start off the qualifying rounds in the World Championship. And you look at the overview, we started off last Sunday and we did a lot of hours in terms of determining who our top 10 teams were going to be. And in the end, we are here on Saturday and going to go into the grand finals and see exactly who's going to come out on top. But just as always, you guys know that there are 3 players per team. 10 teams will be here, so a total of 30 players, which is a lot different than what you mentioned just previously, that we had a lot more players to work with in the qualifying rounds, and now we have 30. And that means that the dynamics in the early game should be a lot less aggressive, I would have to say. And going into more in that, how that dynamic will differ as the time goes on.
Yeah, it definitely will differ, especially because, during the qualifying days when we had 50+ players, and when we have 50+ players in Shackled Owls, it means we have negative points. When we have 60 players, we have -2 points. But when we have 30 players, we all start without any negative points. Everybody will get at least somewhat of a rank point, even if you die 30th. So it's going to change the playstyle, because yeah, it's basically the same concept of, if you have more players and you have 1 point or negative points, it's still gonna equal out to, balance out the same way. However, because you're not gonna be getting any negative points, it's still, when you do well and you do worse in maybe 1 or 2 rounds, you'll still get some kind of points. So it may differ in the playstyles of each teams. So we might see some, passive teams playing it a little bit more aggressive to get that extra point. If not, just play it super passive from the beginning till the end to just constantly just accumulate those points.
Yeah, exactly your point, Andy. But as we talk about teams, we have the overview of the 10 teams that will be here. Like we said, 9 regions represented from the beginning of this World Championship. Now we are down to 7, with Japan and North America unable to bring both of their contestants up to this final stage. But we do have one team from Korea, HJH. While they are the only team from Korea, they are looking like one of the strongest teams in the tournament, followed by the 2 Chinese teams who have been stellar in the qualifying rounds.
Oh yeah, so right under the Korean team, Fear No One and SDJB, the 2 Chinese teams, just playing it so well. They're playing it very aggressive. They're not. Neither of the teams are passive, so if you meet them, they're gonna definitely want to fight you. And everybody else also, they have deserved to make it up here. However, other than the Korean team, we also have Vietnam, EU, and Russia, who are only 1 team from the region. Everybody else, like Thailand, Taipei, and China, we all have 2 teams from those regions as well.
Okay, so just guys, let you know on the event that is coming, it is going to be similar to the qualifying rounds. If you were here with us last Sunday, it is going to be the global secret code that will come out at a time that we cannot mention yet. That's what makes it secret. So you're going to have to wait for that, watch through this broadcast, and wait for that to come out. And you will have differing prizes based on your server. So be sure to log into your server, get ready to put in those codes, and whenever you put it in, the first few hundred, and for Russia, first 1,500 people will be able to collect these codes. And the secret code number 2 for every region will be a lot less in terms of how many people can access it. So first 500 for Russian, you can see the numbers are being specified for each and every server. So be sure to get on that, guys, and while you're enjoying this stream, turn on your Bladeandsoul client out there and just get ready to type in the codes, and it should be a very, very exciting match we have today.
All right. Well, unlike last time, we actually have an English explanation of how you can do this. So, if it takes you a little bit of time to get this thing set up, take a screenshot of this and, make it work. And just make sure, like Joel was saying, just make sure to type in the code early. So even if it's the code 1, they run out fast. Even if it says 10,000 people or 3,000, 5,000 people, it's gonna run out super quick. So you guys better be ready to type it in. If you have dual monitors, that's the best, I think.
There you go. So in addition to the global codes that we have, we also have the stream events where if you go onto twitch.tv and you're watching us from that platform, be sure to open up your extension, and then you will be able to accumulate how many minutes of this broadcast that you have watched. If you accumulate 60, you will be able to access these items based on your servers that you are watching from. So set your region and go onto Twitch, and you will be able to reward this from the extension, and you should be good to go from that one. So 120 minutes, another accumulation of that. So keep on watching and be sure to enjoy this broadcast while you guys are here, and to collect your sweet prize along the way as well. So we're back. So I think we're very, very much ready to start this one. By the way, we're holding these things called the hot packs. I don't know if you guys ever seen these before.
It's cold.
It's very cold here in Korea, and you can see that the clothes that we're wearing, it's not the most suitable for very much the late months that we are in. 2019 is almost nearing to an end. Of course, we have just a couple of months before we do come to a close, but for these players, man, it's going to be a very, very exciting one single day to really decide how it's going to end on the end.
You guys can see me look back. They're here. They're in the
It's true. They're right back there, yeah.
So we have 30 players on stage. So on this side, behind Joel, right?
Yeah.
We have the first floor
There you go.
and the second floor.
There you go, right
So so we have 6 players on each floor, right?
Yeah.
So in the booth, it's divided in half. So obviously you guys can't communicate with each other. The headsets and everything else is separated, the comms. So it's fun because while we were rehearsing, we were able to see the players go up on the stage, and they were standing on the second floor. We're like, let's hope that it doesn't fall.
That's the only thing that we were hoping for, because we're kind of sitting on the elevation too. If you guys can see us, we're sitting right behind the audience, so you guys can see through the camera angle. We can see everyone behind us, but. Man, it's a very interesting turnout that we had with all these fans of Bladeandsoul here in Korea coming out to watch. And I've even seen some foreign fans come from who knows where just to go watch this. And thank you all for joining us today. It's a very, very much a pleasure having you all here on the stream and on site if you were able to manage to come. And like I said, it's a very, very interesting and very, very much of an entertaining venue that we have every year here in the World Championship. And you talk about fans coming from all over. There are fans for the Korean team, obviously. HJH, a memoir of Hanjuno, who's very much. I heard he's actually here today.
That's what I heard too.
Actually, he came here to visit and see his team do well. He has no connection to the team whatsoever, other than the fact that he's friendly with all the members. But I'm just getting ready to start it. It's a very exciting thing for me right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. I want to see Hanjuno do something, because unfortunately this year's Worlds, usually every year we have some kind of event matches going on, like within the region or with all the teams swapping in. But let's get into the VCR before we get into the game.
안녕하세요. 본선에서 1위로 올라온 HJH팀의 손윤태입니다. 지난번에 월챔에서 결과가 안 좋아서 한 번 더 나왔어요.
Мы заняли 5-е место, потому что разница мест ничего не дает, и между 1-м и 5-м местом разница 0. Мы играли для того, чтобы пройти в финал, и место не особо имело значения. Мистер Сон, как ты собираешься победить, если ты показал все, что можешь?
우리도 놀면서 했는데, 그런데 알아서 1등 하더라고요.
Команда Black House в прошлом году победила чемпионат мира по Bladeandsoul, вы уже знаете.
Còn em thì nghĩ là đội Nga là đội mạnh nhất.
我觉得俄罗斯队应该挺难打的，因为去年我被他们打败过。 就我以前和张茂涵是一个队的，然后今年我们分开了，但是上次我们第二，他们第三，就已经有差别了。申浩然是因为他的队友一直在旁边保护他，所以能拿到很好的名次。选一个好的职业也是不可忽略的一部分。你们觉得可以，你们也可以去试试。开始跟我一个队的话，今天是可以取得胜利的，但是很可惜。
我们会注意 HJH。简单来说，就是韩国隊有道具跟没道具都很厉害。
본선 1위로 올라와서 경기하는 게 당연한 거 아닌가요? 급이 다른 걸 증명했잖아요.
I really respect John Ho Han, but I don't know if their actual team is actually good enough. HJH without John Ho Han is like an empty shell.
너네 상대하는데 준호 형까지 와야 되나? 이거 쉬라고 했어.
Do you guys really think that you can approach the skill of John Ho Han just because your name is HJH? If the name could change your abilities, I would also rename to Han Jun-ho Jr.
한준호 주니어가 아니고 한준호 시니어 아니야? 너 나보다 동생이라면 처음에 형인 줄 알았는데.
I'm gonna take the first place in the finals, so just prepare Han Jun-ho's signature.
우승은 우리가 할 테니까 준호 형 사진 줄게. 집에 가서 걸어놔.
今天我们会跟 HJH 去抢第一、第二名。
그런데 누구세요?
我是这次淘汰赛第6名的组长，我叫高浩哲，NIS 的组长，尽量先拿到资格为主，所以不会去激烈的跟大家去对抗。
너네는 국회라고 어떻게 유기했냐? 비법 좀 알려줘라.
对，因为我们想说，就是尽量以防卫大于进攻这样。我会追着你们打，你们最好都躲开。
รอบนี้จะเอาที่หนึ่ง
다 뭐라고요?
รอบนี้จะเอาที่หนึ่งก็รอบที่ผ่านมามีจุดเมืองแลนด์มาร์คที่ลงที่เดียวกันก็เลยต้องเปลี่ยนแผนแล้วหลบไปก่อน
당연한 거 아닌가요?
ครั้งที่แล้วก็หลบให้แล้วนะเดี๋ยวครั้งหน้าจะไล่กลับบ้าง เวลาที่ให้เช่าห้องมันจบแล้วนะ
말 잘하네. 아 이번엔 진짜 갑니다. 첫 사슬군도 월드 챔피언십이기 때문에 이번에 우승해야죠.
ตอนนี้เพิ่งเริ่มต้นมันยังไม่จบแค่นี้พวกคุณอาจจะตกใจที่ผมพุ่งเข้ามาในรอบนี้ได้แต่ถ้ารอบชิงผมจะพุ่งเข้าไปแชมป์เลย
经过上次的比赛，肯定有很多人觉得我们是能拿第一的。谢谢你们的票，我不会辜负你们的。
혁기야 이번에 월챔 처음 올라왔는데 형이 꼭 우승시켜줄게. 형만 믿어. 제발. 아 보내줘요.
Yuntae had to hold on to that whole entire script for the entire VCI, but
Gosh.
thank you, Yuntae, for doing your part, because we are here in the World Championship Grand Finals, and different regions from all over the world is going to be fighting it out to see who is the best team at the moment in the Shackled Owls mode. We do look at a couple of teams and we should be keeping our eyes on STJB from China, qualified as 3rd place from last Sunday. Really, really good team, super aggressive. And how do you see this team in their chances today?
Well, I think this team, especially with Jaifu Chen, you know how I've always been praising him, how he was such a great blade dancer back in the day when we did 1v1s and 3v3s. And finally he came out. Last year he didn't compete, but this year he comes out with his team and does well. 3rd place, not bad, because like we said, anywhere in top 10 just to make it into Worlds and just doing good today is all that matters. Everybody will remember the 1st place today, so we'll see how they do. I think they'll do great. But this team, Mr. X from Taipei, I didn't expect them because, to be honest, we were talking about how in some of the regions we saw a lot of new faces, and this team is definitely one of them.
I mean, you look at Mr. X, they are on the opposite end of the play style from what we saw from STJB. Super passive, and they will camp if need be, and they will make sure they can collect the rank points with all 3 players, because we know that independent scoring is such a huge factor in this game mode, where it's not about trying to get the highest rank as a team, it's trying to get as many members to get as many points you can as a team. So it makes a lot of sense that Mr. X wants to play the passive approach, and we'll see them and their brother team right now, Penganji, to see if Taipei can represent their nation strong tonight.
Exactly, and Penganji, you guys may be a little bit familiar with their name because, and also the players. Last year and the previous years of World Championships, they did come in as the Pengan D, and they changed the D into a G, but they're definitely an experienced team where that's why they're fourth higher than the other team from Taipei, where the other team is less experienced. So we'll see if the offline stage experience will carry them to a higher rank.
And here they are, last year's world champions.
Oh, yes.
People seem to remember them because the cheers are coming strong. Blackout from Russia coming in at 5th place, which was a little bit lower than our standards that we have initially put on them, expecting them to be one of the best teams in the tournament.
Yeah, definitely. And, we'll see how well they do. Will they carry out what we've been talking about? Qualifying day does not really matter as long as you do well here today. Or will they be an actual 5th place team at the end of today?
That's very important because the prize pool does deviate quite a bit, and you will lose a lot of money potentially if you do not end up in that first place that everybody wants to be in tonight. So Blackout coming in as the reigning champions of 2018 in a brand new game mode where we thought that the experienced players will continue to do well. They were the first place team from the qualifying rounds from Russia, so it makes sense that the expectation they put on themselves even will be very high to match that. So we'll see how they do tonight. Going on to Thailand just a little bit. Yep. QI002. We had a tough time figuring out what their identity was. We thought it was 1002 at one point, but it is QI1002. And see how will they do tonight with these 3 players. Putting up an interesting play style. I would have to say a mixture of passivity and aggressive, just to make sure they know when to find it. And it seems like they've done it well to make it here.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think more passive for this team, but this team kind of reminded me of HGM or Hongmoon from the Korean qualifying team, where they were playing it passive, but it's not like they're running away from fights, right? They would hold a position or get into a position that they're comfortable with, and if somebody comes, they will push them out and they would fight as long as they feel safe. But this team, on the other hand, cheaters. Cheaters, not cheaters, but cheater, right? That's their team name. Also qualifying in 10th place, and this team qualifying during the qualifying round or the day was crazy because they stepped up at the last round and they definitely deserve to be here.
These 3 players are the miracle boys of this year's World Championship, and coming from Thailand, they are representing their region quite strong at the moment, as we thought they were going to be very good coming in at 3rd place for the first round of the matches, but the 2nd and 3rd round didn't look so well, but the 4th round, getting that 1st place, just got them what it took to be in this grand stage tonight. So see how they do, but we do have a brand new region that we usually don't see in the grand finals of the World Championship. Vietnam represented for the first time with Muda. Say that 3 times, and that's the team that you're going to be looking at here.
Yeah, definitely. Vietnam, I think, to be honest, Vietnam making it up here itself, I think is great because in the previous World Championships, I know you guys know if you guys follow the other regions qualifying matches for Worlds or any other regions, patches, like if you read the patch notes for different regions, all the regions are a little bit different, as you guys know, and Vietnam used to be one of the slowest regions, and them making it up here in the previous World Championships as well as this year, I think I applaud them for being here. I hope they do well today.
And another rare candy that we have here once again.
Yes.
EU, Europe, being represented strong. Hey, you never know. He's just trying.
Now he's open.
No, I think he was just relaxing, just getting ready for the moment. He's stabbing. He's definitely awake. Yeah, so Brother Bill is here. Everybody is ready to go. Carl, Bill, and Yasin. These guys are definitely ready to go and represent EU strong tonight. Not only are they representing EU at the moment, they are representing the entire Western Hemisphere because that's the last time alive. NA wasn't able to bring their 2 contestants up to this level. So EU, with 1 team remaining, we'll have to see how they do.
Yeah, I hope they do well. Like I said, no bias, but because, like you said, they're the 1 team from the whole Western region. I hope we see a good performance out of them.
Really wishing that, but we do have 1 last team from Korea, but they were the best team from the qualifying rounds, finishing at first. HJH, infamously known as Han Juno. We know them to represent the name that has gone from last year, but here we are looking at this 1 Korean team, and all the domestic fans out here today are putting all the expectations on this 1 single team.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how they do because they've always done well, even during the qualifier matches, even during the prelims of the Korea season. So we'll see if their hard carrying mode will continue. Oh, we see Junohana in the stands.
There you go.
With Sungjin Choi, with Jinyu Park. I almost forgot his name. Yeah. So we have the three, quote unquote, I guess, in the Korean regular 1v1, 3v3 legends in the audience, rooting for their Korean team, obviously.
I hope they saw them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, no, they saw them. They saw them.
Okay, so we got to see the Korean team now, but the Chinese teams, these are very special teams that we have at the moment. We know that Korea team, that one HJH team, took that first place in the qualifier, but the next two spots, the second and third, were taken all by China. The two representatives they had here, Fear No One is the second team right now, looking really, really good, super aggressive, and we'll see how they continue tonight to really continue their momentum.
Yeah, this team is actually, at first, you know how I always, kind of fanboying out on Jaifu Chen, who's on SDJB, but this is the actual team from China that I am watching out for, because these guys, they're very calm, they're always focused in the games, they're not doing any reactions, they're not smiling, they're not frowning, they're just focused in game, and as they do, they perform so well.
I think we're almost getting ready to get into this one. I'm sure you guys are excited just as we are. With the prediction coming through, thinking that HJH will be the team to grab hold of the World Championship this year. So that will...
Is that in order?
I think that would be because, I mean, you look at the highlight being put on the left side, it has to be.
Yeah.
But it's a very important story that we have to follow upon because last year was the only year that a Korean team did not win the Bladeandsoul World Championship. So HJH trying to regain that momentum to themselves and bring back the trophy is an important statement to make.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this prediction, as we always say, whenever there's a prediction, this isn't like, analytical predictions. It's basically fan-based. The people online can vote, and I don't know if this will become true because HJH, yeah, they did come out as the first place team in the qualifying match. So yeah, they do have a high possibility, but look at this. Second place was Fear No One, but in this prediction, SDJB is actually taking over second place. So, within China, within the region, I think this is also has to do with pride. Like, when you go home, right, on a plane ride, oh, we were on top of you. You guys are under us. That's also going to be a very fun topic to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, SDJB has been on flare, really showing their aggressive end of things in the qualifying rounds. And sometimes they worked out, sometimes they did not, but it did well enough to get them here in a very, very good position. So we're starting back from 0 points. Everybody's starting from the ground up and trying to climb their points away, trying to see if they can get enough points to outdo everyone else to be the world champions of 2019. Everybody is stead focused. China, Korea, Thailand, you name it. They are all here to play. And it's going to be a very, very interesting one. Anything there before we go into the first game?
Well, one of the things that you guys have to watch out for is because the early game is going to be way different. During the qualifying days, we had multiple teams. We had so many teams. We had 20 teams. 18, right? 18 teams. But today we only have 10. So there's not going to be as much early fights. And if a team does get into an early fight, that's going to be a very, very big negative for those teams. Because if you lose a player in the beginning when there's only 30 players to start with, you're not going to have a good round.
There you go.
And we only have 4 rounds.
First round it is, ending life, and we're going to get into this grand finals. Let us begin the 2019 Bladeandsoul Tournament World Championship as we have 10 teams, 30 players from all across the globe fighting it out in the end to see who will be the best team to come out fourth. And we are getting out to Shacklehouse to see how the fight will occur. But you did mention ending. It is 30 players, a lot less than we had in the qualifying rounds. A lot less early fights expected out of this today. And you can see that the split is pretty even for the first round.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm pretty sure these guys, during the off days, they've scrimmed. It's from what I heard from the players that I talked to. They scrimmed. They go to the PC bang. They go all together as as a group. They would practice. They would try this out. They would try that out. They would try different kind of items to see any new combinations could work out. So they've definitely done their homework about each other. So that's why when you saw the split early game, roughly all the teams will know. Because 30 players, 10 teams, right, in this big, huge map, you guys definitely don't need to overlap, right, for early fights. And that's what we're seeing right now.
Very, very important. And talk about preparation. all of these teams had just a little less than a week to prepare for this grand finals, and you can see that the item collection has now started to happen. And Mr. X, a team coming from Taipei, deciding they once again want to be as passive as they can, don't want to pick out early fights, if at all possible. And I think this environment will be very much suitable to get that done, as we can see a very even split all across the map. Not necessarily any teams very much close to each other.
Yeah, and while we go through the looting phase early on, just on a side note, I saw something in chat before while we were kind of introducing teams, of how like some people were confused about how this event thing worked, right? So we have two different kinds of reward system. You're watching the stream, we have the 60 minutes and 120? Yeah. Right? So while you're in stream, you do this Twitch thing and you connect your ID.
Extension.
Yeah, extension. 60 minutes and 120 minutes, you will get a reward that you can claim on the stream. And also, there's gonna be a code that goes out, and it'll be different for each region, but you know, a code will go out and you guys can put that code in, and that's a separate reward that you guys can get. So two different kinds. So, you know, watch out for both the code and stay on stream to fill in that 120 minutes.
There you go. And we did see the first circle open up in the north. We do currently have about 2 teams waiting up on the northern island, but we do have a couple of teams from the south who do need to make a little bit of travel. But this first circle shouldn't be too complicated, as we don't have many teams in the way.
Yeah.
So we probably should see a pretty easy cruise from all the teams that are making the travel from the south.
Yep. Right now, currently looking at the mass, we still do have roughly 5 teams out of 10 that's outside the circle. But like Joel said, the circle is huge. It's going to move very slowly. And even if you do take the damage from the spirit wall, it's not going to hurt as much because it is the first spirit wall. So, you know, all the teams will definitely get in. I'm pretty sure probably up to like the 3rd circle, there won't be any huge fights, only small skirmishes where, you know, teams decide to fight or maybe even run away from each other because it's not worth it to waste the utilities and the items. So, we're going to have some time until all these teams start meeting up.
There you go, and Penganji just coming in from the outside of the circle into Badlands. They're going to be in the crossroads at the moment, and we're going to see how their travel will be, because other teams are starting to make their approach in. And certain teams will be getting closer and closer to each other, but it seems like even though with 30 players, we're not going to get too much interaction. When the two teams do meet, let's just say from the edge of the circle, what are kind of the expectations do you have for the two teams that will be interacting with each other?
Well, we'll have to see, depending on who sees who first, and depending on the terrain. If somebody has, like in Blade and Soul in Shackled Isles, the terrain isn't as important as other battle royales that you guys may be more used to, but still the terrain is very important in a way when you're getting into just a 1-to-1 team fight, because throwing your samples and, you know, being able to land them while maybe 1 or 2 of your teammates are dealing with the aggro of the other team is going to be a lot easier if you're gonna, you know, if you're gonna have to take your time and aim and use those items, or if you're in a house, or if one of your player or one of your team is away and the 2 of your teammates are losing, you can group summon them out and kind of run away to get into a better position. So positioning will definitely be a factor, especially in the early games.
Yeah, let's just see who does grab a better position in these interactions. You can talk about interactions. You have Team 7. You have QI from Thailand. Seeing the glimpses of CT, Cheater coming from Thailand.
Okay.
So there's 2 Thailand teams that are very, very close to each other, but really not pulling the strings quite yet. So we'll see definitely what the mindset is. So far, it feels like both teams will be likely just going separate their ways, just to make sure that no unnecessary fight does break out. And we'll see what happens, because the teams are still following each other, and we can have a lot more teams that are now getting closer to each other.
All right. Well, you guys can see for yourselves, at the bottom, at the southern side, we have at least 4 teams overlapping, and I'm pretty sure they see each other, but we'll see. Because you guys can see Team 1 and Team 6, they see each other, as well as Team 10, which is Team Cheater. They don't want to get into an early fight. Like I said, they want to save their utilities, and depending on what they've picked up, up until now, you know, that will decide whether they want to go early and they want to pick up early kills, or do they want to wait it out until later and kind of third party into another fight.
Yeah, this is very much around the north of Crossroads, and we were talking about Blackout coming in from this earlier, but these are many more teams who had decided to join this fray, and to have about 5 different teams around this same region kind of looking towards each other, just keeping their wits about to make sure that no unnecessary fight does break out, but more importantly, no unnecessary death does come across their team, because you don't want to take that as the first death in this grand finals, where we know it can be very crucial to have one less member in your team to fight along.
You guys can see that the Spirit Wall has finished closing. We're gonna get the new circle very soon, but we're seeing the southern part, southwestern part a little bit more, because a lot of the teams are clustered up here. You guys can see it on the minimap. However, where you guys aren't seeing, I just want to let you guys know that in the middle, there's still 2 teams there, kind of just chilling, just waiting, and this is definitely was bound to happen because there's only 30 players, and we'll see. You know, just because you're in the center right now doesn't mean you're gonna get first. Doesn't mean you have the best position, because now when you're in the center, you guys can get, you know, attacked from left, right, up, and down. So we'll see how these teams decide to rotate around into the future circles that we get.
Well, that team in the middle, as you saw, was Muda coming in from Vietnam, and they know they really need to put on a performance to make sure they can make history in this World Championship of 2019. Not a single time that Vietnam was able to send any of their representatives to the grand finals of this tournament, but this year they do. And we're going to see what happens here, as some damage you can see that has been taken, but it's not going to be too threatening at the moment, but we're still around. This battle in the fight does break out. We're going to see what happens from here. Blackout staying as 3, trying to open up this fight as much as they can. And click on that one member, Amuda. We knew that was in the center, had to defend across all angles, but they will be fighting against the Manticore, who does die. So we will see later on who was able to pick up that Mad Strong buff.
All right, so as you guys can see, they wanted the Manticore, they wanted to rotate through into the circle, but so many people, so many teams were thinking, thinking of taking the same route, that they started to overlap. And you guys can see at the minimap, Team 1 and Team 9, they decided to rotate even further out to the opposite way because they didn't want to get into that early fight. So this shows that even Team 1, Hanjuno, they used to be pretty aggressive during the qualifying days, but now they're playing it safe. They're avoiding fights, whether it is necessary or not. They just don't want to fight because nobody has died yet.
And you can see that HJH, a team that has heavily prioritized the Manticores, trying to pick up the Mad Strong as much as they can. Once again, they were trying to do that along the southeastern side, but of course, we'll have to find out later if they were the ones to actually pick that up. As we are looking still down the south, where we have the European representative, Haidong Bush, and Mr. X coming in from Taipei. See what they do. As always, they are going to be pretty passive along the eastern side, just to make sure that nothing does go spill. As we do, the European teams do exactly that.
Yep.
So they across this angle and see what the other team's moves are before they make the initial move.
We'll have to see. Because, like we said, Haidong Bush, the only team from the western side. Let's hope that they do well. But up until now, it's not only them that's playing passive. We've seen all the great players, all the great teams, all the aggressive teams, rather, just playing it passive. It is the first round. They want to see how everybody else feels like playing. And I guess it is just a passive day today.
It really is, and you really can't help that having only 30 players in this tournament. For this grand finals, and still I think that all the players right now, I believe they are in this figuring out phase to see what the best approach is to move forward, and when to be aggressive, when to be a little more passive. It's going to be pretty much a question they're going to be asking all day before everything is done and over with, but so far the passivity seems to outweigh all odds at this stage.
Because like we said, individual points for the 3 players on your team, so if all 3 members stay alive as long as possible, yeah, getting kills in between are important. but staying alive as a three-man team till as late as possible will give you a lot more rank points. And, you know, we're talking about how Hide and Bush was playing passive, and, you know, it's understandable because, to be honest, on paper, Hide and Bush, they haven't gotten any more than, I think, 3 kills was their max kill in all of the 6 rounds that we played during the qualifying matches. So, you know, they haven't had a single round out of 6 where they had, you know, 5+ kills, 10+ kills, right? So that's why it's understandable that they, you know, want to feel safe. They want to play passive. They want to get the rank points rather than get early fights. But now the circle is getting way too small.
Yeah, the fights will occur now. STJB prepping their summoner. Finger wants to make sure the fight is ready to go. We are looking at STJB along with so many other teams that are nearby. You saw that Mr. X, just a glimpse of them earlier, hiding inside the housing. Will also protect them as long as the circle favors them in the long run, but still Blackout. You can see that they were initially prepping for a potential team fight if it does occur. But for now, it's going to be pretty stalemate. So we are looking for that next circle to appear as the next movement will be decided based on this next collection.
All right, it's going to be big. You guys can see now there's no point of having a separate map open because the circle's small. You guys can see the whole circle, and you guys, everybody is on the outskirts except for Hanjuno. Team number 1 is kind of the only team that's going back and forth in the middle, kind of in the central part of the circle. I think the positioning that they're taking is very risky because they can get attacked from anywhere. However, they can also third party very easily because the circle's small. They can hear the fight, they can see the fight, they can go there, throw a strength zapper, and just pick up kills.
All 30 players are alive here, ending life, but the circle got really, really small. In about 38 seconds, the players will rush in, basically centering around Hanjuno. HAH will be at the center of all of this. And we'll see how the fight breaks out. You might see a lot of things going on in the kill feed in the next few seconds or so. 20 seconds left to go before the circle starts closing to that smaller amount that you see on your mini-map.
Yep.
See what happens from here.
That's actually covering the bridge. So that's going to be some crazy fight going on here. And like I said, Hanjuno, team number 1, is in the middle.
There you go, the CT.
Everybody's going to be gunning for team number 1 right now. And, you know, it's going to look like teaming, but they're in the position to get teamed up by all the other teams that want to come into the center.
So here we are. The fight will break up very, very soon with all 30 players. What will happen? Just the warfare about to begin. We're looking initially at the eastern side. We don't see any Master Hongs quite yet. We're going to see what happens
One
from here.
member from SDJB is stuck in between 2 other teams.
Okay, now we got the Master Hongs. So it was HAH who did pick it up a little bit earlier. You can see that Mr. X is having a lot of trouble, and HOB losing a member as well.
QI, man.
QI picking up all those kills, and Thailand looking pretty strong for the first bits of this fight, and now we're down to 28 members. HOB losing 2 members, Mr. X losing 1. You can see that this fight is going on under the bridge, and it is still happening. Let's see what happens with the items that will come across. See who's going to get the kills, where it's very much needed, but HA is still holding strong inside the housing.
And you guys may have seen this in the Korean qualifiers. You guys can use some AoEs from Master Hong inside the house, and they'll still hit the area outside, right behind the wall. So, you know, they can take advantage of that. We'll see if the teams will come in. But in the meantime, QI, who picked up a lot of early kills, get eliminated or loses 2 members from Fear No One.
And QI will be totally eliminated with Mr. X and HOB completely out. We can have 18 players still fighting out mostly under this bridge. Cheater are trying to stay as strong as they can without getting interacting in this fight. And HAH gonna lose Master Hall from outside.
Goodbye.
And not enough time to walk back in. And that's the Korean team losing their main weapon just like that. And everybody now just fall back in. You can see these catballs doing a very good job, and the power pound to see what's going to happen through all of this. And CT still holding strong under the bridge all by themselves, and everybody else above the bridge is still fighting it out. Blackout is trying to survive as long as they can. They will use Slav. It's down to 14 members now to see exactly what's going to happen. Muda trying to put on a show how much they can do it. Swan will keep on with this. It's still so much low HP that we're looking
Oh my
at here.
goodness!
And that's a lot of damage coming through, and 3 members instantly dead. And chained up is going to be SDJB's Master Hong. And we're going to still move on here to AoE. The CCs are continually happening. Who's going to take the win here, ending?
All right, well, we do see Fear No One on top of the bridge playing it safe. They are playing the third-party team, and they're allowing all the other teams to fight. And it seems like they're the only team with a 3-man team right now. Everybody else, they've been so busy fighting each other, they didn't notice. They didn't notice Fear No One on top of the bridge.
They were completely absent of this entire fight. Now they have all 3 members with 1 member from Muda still above this room and trying to stay alive as long as they can. But Cheater looking like they will lose their last member very, very quickly. And they will come in here with Fear No One now striking hard, taking over this opportunity with all 3 members. Only 1 member from HH, 1 member from Muda, and this ought to be it for the Chinese team on this first round. Looking like they will pick up those 33 points along with those many kills that they have gotten. It's only a matter of time. Gonna look at Hyuki trying to stay alive as long as he can, at least trying to get that second place. But it seems like Muda will get hit by the, in the end, will go to the Korean team. 3v1. It is a matter of time, and Hyuki will go down. That is going to be the first win over to the Chinese squad. 33 points awarded to Fear No One. And how many kills they got in the end is going to be a very, very good start for them. 7 kills with 33 points, 40 on the day for them.
Wow. So 40 at the start of the day. We have a total of 4 rounds. So starting with the 40-point lead after the first round, look at them. I was talking about how they didn't have any emotion while they were prepping. Now they show us a little bit of a smile, a little bit of emotion, and this is what we like to see. This team, like I said, they were 3rd in the qualifying day, but it does not matter. They are currently the first place team after round number 1.
And we knew that Fear No One looked very strong in the qualifying rounds, and it's no surprise that they strike at the right time once again today. And round 1, what a great way to start. All 3 members alive in the end, collecting those 33 points, along with 7 kills, not so shabby. So 40 points to start things off, and we'll expect this Chinese team to continue to look strong to try to have their say in this World Championship.
Oh, definitely, and now we're obviously going to be seeing throughout the individual rankings and the points, because like we said, all the point system today is not as a team. It gets added up into one team score, but it's all individual scores. So like we said, the passivity in the beginning is understandable. We can't say anything to any of the players for playing it passive until the end. But look at this. Everybody got the same chance to play passive. Everybody got the chance to loot early game without any interruptions. But at the end of the day, Fear No One, knowing when to hit, knowing how to wait, got the first place with all 3 members alive.
And of those 3 members, Zhao Jun, the Force Master, Soul Fighter doing so well. In the end, collecting so many kills for his team, along with those 11 points that he got. And you can see that Fear No One right now, that number 2 team, looking like they were going to come in as the 2nd best team, but that definitely did beat out the Korean team of HJH. Really valiant effort by the Korean team once again to stay strong as much as they can, collecting 30 despite a 2nd place performance. But still, Fear No One looking like they got the heavy advantage for these rest of the rounds.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens, because every single round is going to be different. Like we saw, even in the first round, everybody was able to stay alive, no early fights. Nobody started with a disadvantage where, you know, they got into an early fight while they were looting, so they weren't able to get some items that they like. So, in round number 2 and even 3 and 4, we're going to probably be seeing a very similar scenario going up. However, we'll see if Fear No One is able to do the same thing at least one more time out of the 3 rounds that we have left, because if that happens, they may just be able to be one of the best teams today.
It really is, and China hasn't won a World Championship in a very, very long time. So we imagine that this grand final is going to look strong. We'll come back with round 2 after a short break. we are back once again for the second round of the World Championship 2019 Grand Finals. So that Fear No One, the team from China who did exceptionally well in the qualifying rounds, does once again what is needed to take that first place in round one. How did you see their plays, ultimately resulting to their best place?
Well, the funny thing is, their name is Fear No One. It felt like they were fearing everybody at first, even till the late game. But, you know, I gotta commend them because they knew when to fear. They knew when to step back for a moment, and they went in and, you know, finally showed that they feared no one at the right moment, and that's the reason why they were able to get first with 7 kills. So we'll see if they're able to do the same thing here, because I know that this team on your screen, HJH, they want to get the first place.
They are not happy with the second place finish they got in that first round. 30 points on the day so far for the Koreans, but still unhappy. They are hungry for more, and they will not stop until they stand at the top of the throne. We're gonna see what happens in round 2 once we get to this. See if the Chinese can do it once again. Fear No One versus the world. We're gonna see what happens in round number 2. Here we are back again. 10 seconds left to go before we begin second rendition of this World Championship. Very, very important round for this one because it will set a tone as to how the next two, very much the final rounds that we have for tonight, will end up as the sword breaks down and we are gonna separate into shackle-nows. And how do you see the playstyle changing from the Koreans? I mean, we came up with 30 players from the beginning. Basically, no one fighted until the very last circle, and it was understandable so. But any possibilities of early fights breaking out now that the players are a little more situated in this first round?
Well, to be honest, in round number 2, I don't think any early fights will break out. If any early fights that we want to break out and see early on, it may just be at round number 3 or maybe even in round number 4 when they want to kind of hot drop a team so they can bring them down, they can drag them down. But until then, I think everybody knows where they want to go early game. They know where to go to avoid early fights. And this is all coming from practice, all coming from the 10 teams scrimming with each other. So we'll see if this will continue till the last round, or like I said, maybe we'll see some hot drops later on.
Yeah, we saw that HJH, the team that looked like a possibly the champion team, now are coming in as the challengers. This round number 2. And
look at this.
SCJB?
Yeah, we see an early fight possibly breaking out already.
HOB, the team
Hide
from
a
Europe.
bush.
See how they can interact and respond to the attacks of the Chinese, but maybe that SCJB does not want this fight to break out. Unnecessary usage of these items should definitely play a long run in the later matches out here, and we will see how SCJB responds to all this now that they have initially just kicked out the Europeans out of their home turf.
Well, to be honest, the balance is definitely big enough for 2 teams to loot. So, yeah, you can say kicked out, or you can say that both of the teams decided to kind of sway away from each other so they don't have to fight without any utilities and before looting anything. So, yeah, we'll see.
You said that HOB has not been kicked out too far away from the lands, and we will see exactly what is needed to make sure that the Europeans can come up with some sort of success, because the first round wasn't anything to really boast about, as they were eliminated in the very much the early phases of that round 1. But coming to round 2, I'm sure the Europeans, hide on bush, are definitely looking for something special to kick off what could be a good world championship for them, because that sentence alone has been hard to say in these past few years.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see if anything will change in the next couple rounds. But yeah, the first spirit wall has opened up. The first circle is so huge with just 30 players you guys saw in round number 1. It won't matter too much other than the possible fight breaking out as teams rotate in. But that won't be too much of a big problem. So right now it's just going to be a long-term looting phase where they swap out items, pick up the items that they want so they can get into a later fight. Because as you saw, as these players already know, that early fights will most likely not break out. So they're going to pick up items that are needed later when the spirit wall gets super small, like gravity surge, anything AOE like toxic clouds, or even strength sapper, which I love. So we'll see if a lot of these teams will be able to pick those specific items up and possibly even manticores. But we saw Master Hong get blown out of the spirit wall. They couldn't get up. They just literally died outside the wall. So we've seen Master Hong do very well in the qualifying matches. What do you think is the difference now?
I mean, you gotta really understand what is the difference here, because we're coming with less players on the line, and you know, the AoE always seems to be a big factor in Master Hong, but you just don't have many players to apply the AoE to. So definitely we saw it in the first round that Master Hong wasn't as effective as we saw from many of the qualifying rounds we've seen. We had 6 rounds of that, but coming to this grand finals, we'll see how that round 1 showing of that Master Hong really affects how much of the priority is for the teams to collect the Master Hongs once the Manticores are destroyed.
Yep, we'll have to see about that, but the first spirit wall has finished closing. Not a big deal. Gonna be moving on to our second one. Until then, Muda playing the I Am Groot on top of the tree. We've seen a lot of this in the Korean qualifications. We've also seen this in the World Championship qualifying round as well. Not as much, though. But you know, getting information, we saw a couple instances where a team was on the ground, another team was on top, and the team that was on top was able to calculate and throw strength sappers at a perfect time to pick up like 4 or 5 kills all at once, doing a third party. So that's one of the reasons why you want the high ground advantage. Not to start a fight when you want, but to know how many people or how many teams are around you.
Because it is the last hits that will get you those points, and you need many of those if you want to win this year's World Championship, as we are in the grand finals with 9 regions initially represented throughout the world, but now we do have 7. A couple of those regions do have both teams that initially started make it all the way to here in the grand final, but some of the teams are left with one single one. That means that the team that is really alone in their representation, like Korea, and like we know with the other regions like EU, they have to be super strong.
Vietnam.
Really does, and you have to be super strong to make sure you do all you can, because there are no second chances in this World Championship, and it feels like these 4 rounds could be definitive how the region will be represented for the entire next year.
Yeah, and you know, Russia being one of the teams that I am personally looking out for because of their winnings in the previous year's World Championships. See how they do, but in round number 1 didn't seem to have such a great showing, but there's still 3 more rounds left, including this one, so there's a lot of time for all these teams to pick things up and do what Fear No One did in round number 1.
There you go, and trying to repeat that performance will be the priority of Fear No One as we come into this round 2. If they can get those 40 points once again in this round 2, almost it might guarantee them at least the top 3, if not at least.
All right, well, we do have an early fight here.
Yeah, we saw Chuan really hovering over the sky, trying to get on the observer role, but we do have the group summon being applied to save their teammates. So got the information they needed onto Blackout, but were able to escape with the aggression shown by the Russians. So that's good play coming from the Vietnamese, doing exactly what is needed and getting away just fine.
Yeah, definitely. If it's an early fight where you know 100% that you start off maybe with a strength sapper start and basically eliminating 1 player out of the 3, yeah, maybe you guys go for that fight to get that 3 points. But if that's not the case, it's kind of like a waste to get into an early fight, just a regular 3v3, and that's what you just saw there. We saw the Vietnamese teams just back out, and that's the smart thing to do right now. And if you saw the minimap at that moment, there were 3 other teams around that area. So as long as they had that information, the possibility of getting third party is also what they need to worry about, which is why they didn't decide to stay with that fight.
Yeah, so if it was a little bit later in the game, the third party might have happened, but just a little bit too early for all the teams to be a little more angsty about trying to go in on those fights, trying to get those kills, but sacrificing those chances that you might lose a member of your own is something that you always have to be cautious for. But we are here at the Manticore, and HH are back at it once again. You can see that the Dust Manticore is losing a lot of health and fast, and it seems like HH would have gotten it and get the group summon to bring him back, and it seems that they picked up the buff and got their teammate off to safety. So good work for the Koreans once again.
All right, well, we'll have to see. It seems like the Koreans are sticking with the Master Hong play. We'll see if that will pay off, because in round number 1, you saw him get home run out the field. So let's hope that that doesn't happen. And that the reason that it is able to happen is because there's so many less players here in this grand finals that you're able to focus. It's not as chaotic. It's still chaotic, but it's not as chaotic. And these players especially, they're so used to the 50-man chaos that a 30-man chaos is nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, Master Hong not being able to apply his AoE damage onto as many members around the field. Just kind of makes it less effective in theory, but we're sad to see multiple attempts at this Master Hong theory will continue to pull forward, especially for the Koreans, who really love to use that from their regional qualifier they had in Korea. So kind of have to wait to see, once again, how these 30 players react to each other once the circle does get small enough and everyone picks their positions, to see how the fight will break forth.
The circle is definitely not small enough to squeeze these guys in to start a fight, but for now you guys can see the southern part is actually a lot has a lot more room, whereas the northern part is a lot more packed. So as the circle opens up, the next circle, depending on where this next circle opens up, the crazy rotation fights will begin.
You can see that STJB still holding on to their opportunities to see what the right move is, but I think everyone really has that same mindset of waiting for that next circle to appear. Then they can formulate their next strategy in line. So we are looking at this now. The circle has done closing. We're going to see where the next circle does move over to everyone just pretty much hovering over the edges all across the circle to see where the circle is. And you can see that HAH are very close to this next circle that has opened up in the northeastern side. Let's see how they approach it.
All right. Here we go. We're on the left side, on the western side. It seems like we have the two Chinese team actually kind of hovering over each other. We'll see if they'll get into a fight as they rotate, or maybe they don't even know that it's each other from the same region. And maybe they'll rotate somehow, trying to avoid each other to get into the circle first. But in the meantime, we do have the teams that are already in the circle, taking over basically the high ground. And Muda
Master Hong
summoning Master Hong.
very, very quickly here. What could be the reasoning that you summon Master Hong this early when you know you are so many minutes away from actual fights breaking out?
Well, they want to prep for this because they in the previous round they didn't get as many points as they would have liked. So you see the two members of Muda taking the high ground and Master Hong doing the AoEs at the bottom just to make sure, and they want to basically keep this area to themselves for the time being, and basically telling everybody else to fight around them. Don't come here. We've already activated the Master Hong.
Yeah, big investment by the Vietnamese just to get the Master Hong going, to make sure that the rest of the Muda members are safe. And looking at cheaters now, coming in from Thailand. They are on the top of the hill, looking down on towards many prospective fights. I'm sure that will occur once the next circle does open up. Next circle will be a lot smaller ending, and then we are going to see the fight break out once again like we did in round 1. Everyone around the edges except that one team, Mr. X, who's going to be in the center. And we'll see how they do interact. They are looking all across the map, 360-degree vision. But we'll talk about Master Hong being able to bring this forward. They fought with Muda last time around, and they're going to try it once again here. You can see that the gravity surge has pulled Master Hong initially, and he just dies.
I think he got home run out.
Oh my goodness, Master Hong summoning it that early. You thought that was going to be an investment of some sort, but Muda in the end just lose a huge asset, losing both the Master Hong and one of their members.
Exactly, that was huge. It's very unfortunate for Muda. They tried something new to try to get control of this game, taking the center, taking the high ground, summoning the Master Hong early, but everything that they tried backfired on them. They lost a member, they lost the Master Hong, and now they really have to go into hiding.
Yeah, but that does mean that the one kill does go over to Blackout, and I'm sure they're going to be on fire as they approach this next circle that has opened up more on the western side to see how they will approach this next situation. Mr. X is still holding on inside the circle, Gonna have to look all 360 degrees here because the teams will be coming on. They will be coming on fast. 15 seconds left to go before the circle starts closing. But the two teams that have already started out the fight is going to be the Thailand team QI versus HOB from Europe. But for now, it seems like HOB will be holding to their own, just not trying to start any unnecessary fights. You can see that HOB are going to be looking for the opportunity as we see Muda with those two members, see what they can do now that the fights are starting to break out.
All right, the early rotating teams have already got into fights. Now, the gravity surges, sky jumps, everything will be used here. The latecomers into the circle are stuck on the corner. As you see right there, the two Chinese teams that we thought were going to get into a fight actually did get into a fight. They're getting all pulled in by the gravity surges, but we're not seeing any strength zappers land doing the crazy, humongous damage.
Well, here we see the Korean team going up against HOB. Yuntae loses half his health outside the circle. And now we're going to see what the Europeans can do. Still left alone with Fear No One. Going for that same strategy of just trying to put still until everyone pretty much kills each other so they can come in at the last moments to pick up that first place once again. Can they get it? It's going to be the question. As you can see that HAH are trying to do exactly the same. CT inside the housing with Matt Strong trying to buy all their magical damage. And onto this AoE, and Mr. X does lose a member from CT's damage that came forward.
All right, well, Cheater right now behind the wall. Master Hong will be procking out a lot of AoEs right now, and you guys can see on the northern part, there's a huge group, you're right here, huge group with two Master Hongs procced right now. STJB and Cheater, as we saw before, they're going all at it.
There you go, STJB, and you can see that Cheater. They have those two Master Hongs still fighting it out. No way to tell who's going to be the winner out of all of this. The AoEs are still going on. You can see this focus of the angle on the northwestern side is going to be the important spot as we look at Blackout trying to pick up a fight on the southern edge. Still nothing really coming across as the Cheater are holding on strong. SCJB trying once again, but you can see that Master Hong is going to be bullied, and now the circle is closing once again. This should be the deciding fight here as we look at all across. Oh, the gravity surge, that could be big. And who's going to be knocked away is going to be the important question.
The heel gets procced,
Once again, gravity surge, but the Fear No One, they're still holding strong as they much as can, trying to apply as much damage, trying to get everyone out the field. Master Hong is still here for SDJB. For the Chinese, can they do it? They're looking strong now. HJH from Korea, they're still looking like they want this. Sky jump in the air. Let's see what happens.
Waiting it out right now. Like you said, Yuntae, I think from HAH is the only one alive, and everybody gets pulled in. Everybody gets knocked out.
They're going to be out. You can see that SDJB's Master Hong has been the MVP so far. BOH, what can they get from all of this? Everyone getting knocked out. HAH will lose their member, and it is down to the Chinese once again. This time, SDJB versus Cheaters. Is it going to be China? Is it going to be Thailand? 2v2 in the end as Master Hong buff runs away. So it is going to be the two Lins going up against each other. SDJB, you can see that the knockout just happened. That's going to be Thailand picking up the edge. And Shanfu will not be able to survive. But SDJB, where's the last member Cheater? I didn't see him go up in the air. He might be up in the sky jump, just waiting things out. Xiao Q doesn't have much bind.
Oh, he came down. He was in the air.
Yes, he's going to see exactly what he can make out of this one. Trying to hammer this through. Very much on the losing end of things is going to be China. Mind trying to do all he can with the healthy point that he does have at the moment. Xiao Q doesn't seem to have any more gravity surges to work with here. Doing work in Mind. See what he's going to do in the last moment. It's going to be a 1v1 fight to the end. Pulls him in, and Xiao Q is going to be in the air. Is there enough damage to finish him off? Mind doesn't have much HP either, so he has to go through this. Xiao Q really holding strong for China. SDJB. Oh, that's the critical hit! And that's going to be China picking up the win once again. This time to the prowess of SDJB Xiao Q picking up that win for China. A different team, however, but it is a win for China nonetheless.
Wow, that was some crazy 1v1 that watching that 1v1, it brought me back some memories, and that was some great 1v1. You guys can finally see your global secret code number 1. This is different from your 60-minute and 120-minute reward that you get from the Twitch extension. This is different. 2019 cheer up kit is the code, so put that in right away before it runs out. But wow, that last 1v1, cheater mine, he was at full HP, so I thought he might have had a chance. But SDJB with the item uses, with the Toxic Cloud and the Gravity Surges of pulling cheater mine down from the air before he expected it, just caught him off guard, was able to take him on.
It wasn't the Xiaofu Chen superstar show that we saw, but it was his teammate Xiao Q doing exactly what was needed to bring another victory over to the Chinese, this time towards SDJB, who deserved it so much, was on the losing end in that last fight, that 1v1, but does beat the tie to bring SDJB very much up in the upper end. How many points they got is going to be the next question we have to ask, and we have to see how the Xiao Q did in the end. Mine and Xiao Q picking up 13 points each for their respective teams, and it's a very, very good win that we saw for the Chinese once again.
Yeah, that was a very good fight. I think I like this kind of fight because I'm so used to the 1v1 and even 3v3s, but the 3v3s back in the day was still, you tag in, and at most you'll have a 2v2 for like 5 seconds, right? So at the end, seeing that 1v1 just brought back so many memories, and SDJB had a great fight. Even Cheater also had a great fight, and look at the point differential. It's not that big. First place team only got 35 points, so now it's divided across the board. So this is not gonna, bring one team way up high.
And you can see that little bit of glimpse of Blackout picking up 27 points in that round. Does well, and we'll see what the Russians can do in these next 2 rounds as we get done with the first half of this tournament. Oh man, SCJB, I'm sure they're feeling really good right now after that win, but Cheater, nothing to fret right now, because that many points in that second round could give them hope that may just bring Thailand the World Championship that they've never been able to look at.
Yep, definitely. So, oh my goodness, that was just some exciting games at the end. I hope we get to see more 1v1s.
There we go. And round 3 coming right your way after a short break. Welcome back, everyone, to round 3 of the World Championship 2019 for Bladeandsoul tournament. And you're looking at 10th place right now, and they maybe they don't know what that means, but they are very happy, smiling about it. Hide on the bush from Europe. Maybe they're just memeing at this point. They kind of know what this means.
They're hiding on, or they're hiding in booth.
Well, I mean, no, they're hiding from something. They're hiding in shame or something, because so far, it hasn't been the night for the Europeans, I would have to say.
No. But I'm looking at the scoreboard. There's only 10 teams, and 10th team, which you just saw, 37 points. First place team, 64 points. So we don't even have a 30-point difference. So one good round, even a 10th place team can climb up there.
So you're saying that EU can actually win the World Championship in these next 2 rounds?
Yeah, possible. And it's not even a small possibility.
Okay.
Because it's just one round until they catch up in the top 2, top 3, and then the last round they do well again. It's definitely possible. So anybody that you just saw, even 9th place Mr. X and 8th place that you see right now, QI from Thailand, all these players that are at the bottom, they can do it.
Well, at least I think the 2 Thailand teams at least know exactly what their scores mean, because QIO2, they don't seem very happy about being in 8th place right now.
But you can see the players wearing short sleeve in their boots, which means it must be warm.
Hey, you know, it's not warm everywhere.
No, it's not.
Stadium. It is super cold here in Korea. Cold. Oh my god, I wish you guys were here with us right now. It's so cold in Korea. And it just suddenly got cold tonight, but you know what? The heat of the moment is going to fire these guys up. You can see that the short sleeves shirts, they're working, because right now they're looking like the passion, their energy they're going to put into these last 2 rounds is going to be just good enough, because all they need in the end is to get that first place prize. And seems like the Chinese teams are very close to doing that, but it seems like the Koreans, I'm sure they're going to be very much on a comeback trying to catch on to them.
Yeah, we'll see how far or how good of a comeback the Koreans will have. And even this team on your screen right now, Blackout, the previous champions, we'll see if they're able to come back, because they're at the bottom 5. They're in 6th place. So they have to get up there if they want to, you know, achieve what they said in the VCR. They want to win again. But in order for them to win, this round number 3 and 4 will be very, very important, critical, because as you guys will see, the top 3, top 4 teams, they're very, very strong and they're very consistent.
Blackout, I mean, we had a high expectation for them, and we were surprised that they came in as the 5th place team from the qualifying rounds. But now that we kind of seen that this finals performance so far has been pretty parallel to their qualifying rounds performance, so we'll have to see how they do, as this team right here, Muda from Vietnam, is actually doing better than the World Championship last year.
Yeah, and it's very surprising. However, you guys can see, you saw they choose to fight the fights that they want, except for that one moment where we saw one of the members of Muda get caught in between 2 teams, and unfortunately they lose a player when they proc that Master Hong early on. They wanted to take that high ground and low ground. They got a little bit greedy, and I could understand the reason for them doing that, but it just backfired. It was a good try, but let's just hope that they don't do that again in round number 3, and I think they're good to go. 4th place. How did you know from Korea?
Yeah, HH from Korea. You expected them to be one of the best teams coming into this tournament, but the qualifying rounds did not tell the full story. For right now, they are the 4th best team in this grand finals. While they do have 2 more rounds to go, I know the Koreans are a little bit worried, and I know they want a lot more out of these matches, because these 3 players, they came here with nothing less than wanting to win, and win it all is going to be their potential here.
Yep, and like I said, even the last place team has a possibility, so them being 4th place, definitely they're up in the air. It's going to be very easy for them to take over 1st place as well. For any of the teams that are in like top 5, will be able to easily take the 1st place throne in the next 2 rounds. So we'll see what happens in round number 3, but until then, we're going to be focusing on the rest of the top 3 teams here. And the 3rd place team, SDJB, on your screen.
Yeah, SDJB from China. They came in with not the best first round, but the second round coming in as 1st place in the round that we just seen, brings that way up, and they're going to put themselves in 3rd place right now going to these next 2 rounds. As the 2 Chinese teams so far, you'll see the other pretty soon, but man, they are putting really a heck of a performance, and it seems like SDJB are really counting their chance to win it all tonight.
Yeah, and you know, SDJB as well as Fear No One. In the beginning, Fear No One, they did so well, but they didn't do well in round number 2. But I think, yeah, as you see now, it confirms that they're still number 1. But until then, 2nd place cheater from Thailand, they're catching up. They came out of nowhere. They did very well in round number 2, and it also proves that they did pretty consistently in round number 1 as well for them being in second place.
And you gotta remember that Cheater came in just barely through the qualifying rounds.
Yeah.
Literally one match to decide it all. That's the reason why they're here on this Saturday night. Cheater, whatever it is they're doing, they're not cheating, they're doing just well enough to get what they need, staying inside these housings, getting up on the trees when it's needed, and they're doing the right things at the right time, and that's the reason why they're in second round at the moment.
Exactly. We'll see how they will continue in round number 3 and 4, but this is the team to watch out for. We thought, or I at least thought, SDJB could have been the stronger team, but fear no one. Doing well in the qualifying round, they're going to do well again in the World Final stage, and they're way up there in first place.
Fear no one is looking good ending. What can you expect from these guys to continue to do what they do? Because that second round, although they didn't win first, they still came in pretty strong. So really have to wonder, what is their secret ingredient to making all this success happen? 2 more rounds to go. What do you need from these guys to secure their World Championship spot?
Well, in round number 1, they got first place with 40 points. They did very well when all the players were basically getting used to, the scenery, getting used to the offline equipments and everything. I'm pretty sure they did that already, but they did so well. But in round number 2, they faltered. So we'll see if they'll be able to do what they did in round number 1 in round 3, or if they'll do what they did in round number 2.
Exactly, and we're gonna have the first half already done here in the grand finals. The second half, the next 2 rounds will decide who will become the world champions of 2019 Bladeandsoul Tournament World Championship. Very much underway once again, round 3, ready to go. Will it be China? Will it be Thailand? Or will it be Korea? Or will it be just one of those regions that has not been mentioned quite yet to make a big upset to see how it is going to go forth? Very ready to get into this round 3. Exactly what we've been waiting for. To see how the second round will come forward into this third round. Let's get right into it. The team's ready to go. Here we are, back once again for the third round. 10 teams, they're just up in the air, flying in hopes as to what might happen in this next round. And 2 more rounds left to go ending. There's gotta be a point in time where these teams really gotta step up to make a difference for what they haven't been able to show in the first 2 rounds.
Yep, do see SCJB, one of the possible candidates to be first. But like I said, all these teams are still able to get first. All these teams are able to bring down Fear No One from that first place position, because it all matters in this round number 3. If you get closer, or if you get close enough to somewhere in the top 5, you guys can do that and make that and take that first place in round number 4. If not, this third round may be the deciding round where some of the players or some of the teams will not have the possibility of getting that first place.
You saw a glimpse of that trophy, the beautiful trophy that is here every year. The Russians were able to pick it up last year by the team Blackout. They're here once again, but not really up to that par of their championship performance they have shown in 2018. Although it is a different game format, they do look with a little bit less finesse and with a little bit less prowess as to actually can they get it once again this year to back-to-back. So far, it doesn't seem like it. What's been the problem for Blackout so far?
Right now, Blackout, even right now, they're playing it pretty aggressive. They know Abandoned Village is taken over by the 2 Chinese teams, and they're still looting around that area. So depending on where the circle opens up, they might just get teamed up by the Chinese team without them noticing. And this is one of the reasons. Blackout, they've been pretty aggressive. Yeah, we haven't seen any early fights going on and, Blackout members dying out in the first 2 rounds. But still, even in the mid-late game, Blackout, they don't back out from a fight. When they see an opportunity, they just rush in, they fight. And when that turns out to be a positive fight and a winning fight for them, it'll be good. But in the first couple rounds, it hasn't been so. So that is why they're not doing so well. We'll see. Let's hope that they're able to pick out the better fights to benefit them.
Yeah, to be more selective is the way to success in this game mode. As we are looking at Panganji, pretty quiet from these guys, the other team from Taipei. As we looked at the Panganji, one of the two representatives that we have from this region. As we see another team solely representing the region of Korea. Junohan, HAH, to be fair, and we'll see if this Korean team will really bring the success that the Korean people actually demand from the continual success that the Koreans have had year to year ever since the tournament started. And up to 2018, that's kind of the first time they actually started to falter. And it seems like 2019, we thought that the Koreans might get it back. But so far, these first two rounds haven't been as convincing. Just a little bit shy of that top 3 as the Koreans are in right now. Can they really have a chance to really come back here in these next 2 rounds and really have a championship performance?
That's a big question because, like you said, the first 2 rounds, they haven't been so convincing. We can see that they have a strategy in mind when they want to be aggressive, but they haven't been able to make it actually work. And what is happening here? It seems like he's lowering himself.
Strength Sapper being procced, but the group summon does happen. Blackout will get everyone to safety. Now, Twan is kind of in
Blackout gatekeeping him.
Okay.
Come on.
We have to really hope that Muda also has
he's
a group
caught.
summon.
Wait, did we see a group summon? Yes, we did.
Okay, so
right.
the group summon did happen.
That was close.
You can see that the Blackout were proccing a lot of skills,
Yeah,
ready to go. They were ready to go, but I'm just gonna have to wait for the cooldowns to run back because that one isn't going to go to use. And Muda really just trying the same strategy they did in the last game against Blackout, which was pretty much have Twan go on the observing mode, and if he was in any sort of danger, just the group summon brings him right back. So once again, gets what they needed. I wonder if that was as much as they needed, but that is going to be them still surviving with 3 members in this early game. Really would be surprising to see an early kill at this point in the time because 30 members we already saw in these first 2 rounds is not going to formulate into much action in these early actions.
Yep, and now on screen, Hide Bush from Europe. They're playing the outskirts. They're pretty close to the second Spirit Circle, so it's not going to be too much of a hassle for them to get in. They want to play it safe. They want to get the rank points, and they've been trying this since round number 1. They're staying alive. They're not dying out early, but when the chaos breaks out, I think there needs to be a solid in-game leader giving out shot calls to do what, focus on who, and to use what items consistently back-to-back, because not only Hide on Bush, but many of the teams that are playing or staying at the bottom of the rank seems like, compared to the top-tier teams, they're not doing the combination of certain items that force other teams to back out and kind of show them that they're the stronger team.
Well, I mean, talk about trying to put on a statement. Fear no one, a team that usually likes to keep it cool until the very last moments of the game. You can see they were pretty aggressive on the faces of SDJB, a fellow Chinese team. No fight did break occur, so means that Haoran, you can see from Fear No One, along with his teammates, are just going to be keeping their ground. Not going to necessarily open up this fight, as they're just going to get closer and closer into the circle. As we see Blackout very much near the Korean side at the moment with HAH. You can see them right on the off-screen, looking toward that direction. But they do have another opponent right here with Muda.
The southern side basically has like 7 teams. They're not like super clustered up, but basically the southern side has all the teams now. And it's only, whatchamacallit, who is that? SDJB all around the northern side, still at abandoned villages. Everybody else is on the southern side. So if this next circle shifts towards the north, it's going to be chaotic. Maybe this may be the first round out of the 4 to see a pretty early fight.
Yeah, a relatively early fight is what you're indicating at, because we haven't seen any fights break forth until it got too small that you had to fight. That's been the formula for this World's Finals so far in this game. And round 3 might just bring a different spectacle depending on where the next circle lands. It's been pretty central for many of the circles we've seen for the past 2 rounds, but in this round 3, You have to wonder, this all-important circle, if it does land closer to the northwest, as you were indicating, ending, it could break out in a very much a flurry of entertainment. We'll see what happens, as the circle has yet to open up yet.
Look at this, SDJB still in an abandoned village, but as you see it, it's cheaters. They've already spotted each other, so we'll see if this fight will break out. We saw all these teams, regardless of regions, when they spot each other in an early game, even at mid game, which is right now, they decide not to really fight, not to get into a huge fight where they'll lose a member of your team. But right now, it seems like they're slowly prepping, and because of that Manticore spawning, this fight will happen.
Double strength sapper. The third one is thrown, but it seems like SDJB were the closest to it. We'll have to check later as to whether they actually got the Master Hong buff or not. But it seems like the two regions fighting it out. CT versus SDJB fighting for that Master Hong buff. Seems like the Manticore is still worth it in the end after 2 rounds of kind of mixed results of what we've seen from Master Hong. Round 3 still priority on the Big Daddy.
Yeah, and I think it's the observers that's catching the Master Hawk basically being home run out of the Spirit Wall, where it's like, all right, you guys like Master Hawk, we'll only show you when he gets, you know, home run out of the Spirit Circle. And that's probably one of the reasons why we've seen a lot of the Master Hawks die outside the circle, but it definitely is worth it as we see all the players trying to get it. And the circle is getting smaller and smaller, and no fight has yet to break out, no player has yet to die. A lot of overlapping teams, but like I said before, regardless of region, nobody wants to start that first punch. Nobody wants to throw that first punch.
Just making it so easy for the third party to happen, for anyone that's observing and spectating from across. But we are looking at QI, who's going to be on the top of the hill. We know that top of the hill isn't necessarily the safest place to be because the gravity surge suddenly can change the fight against their favor. So we are looking at multiple areas of the map. We are still looking at this one part on the northwest. Which has CT and SDJB. They do not know.
Oh my gosh!
They have no idea. Okay, now the sound has been made. It's important to see how CT will approach this. It seems like SDJB still is unaware of the situation.
That's a ninja. Oh wait, did they see him? Oh no.
Ah, that angle, that angle.
Oh my god, I want to see a strength sapper. He's like, everybody, get ready.
Oh my god,
Take your strength sappers.
3 strength sappers onto that angle should destroy the team.
Oh, they changed. They know they were caught. They changed positions, but they still know.
What are you going to do in this? And now you're just kind of stuck in this corner. You have to walk, and there's only one exit.
Goodness.
SDJB will be waiting outside the door with the greetings of a hello. And that's going to be the hello instantly with a goodbye. What's going to happen with Cheater? Now they're looking like they've been absolutely exposed, and SDJB has outsmarted them. Just waiting. How many strengths ever do they actually have? That is the question.
I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. And the observer knows that they want to see what happens.
Absolutely.
This is just going to be crazy. You know what? I want to see SDJB just gravity surge like back to back and keep them out the Spirit Wall and just let them die.
And you know, whatever is about to happen, 15 seconds left to go before the circle starts closing. Spirit Wall warning down to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's the countdown to potential down for CT. Losing a little bit of health, but not going to be the thing that we expected. SDJB a little underwhelming from what we saw, but Mr. X losing a member early here. CG going down in that situation. And Mr. X feels like they are going to be stolen of that kill. Now they're down to 2 members. With nothing really happening from the north, it's a little bit disappointing that nothing came about from SDJB.
As you like to say, very anticlimactic right there. I was hyping myself up.
Yeah.
And they just run out. Basically, nothing happens. SDJB, I think SDJB, they were prepping, but Cheater, they took an odd timing to come out, right? They waited they came out a couple seconds early, but...
Oh, QI, look at this. How is going to go down. Kausharin, nothing that the Thai can do. The Europeans picking up that kill. Yasin perhaps picking up his first kill of today's matches, and We're going to see what the European teams can do now that they pick up that 1 kill. Can they move on with it? Trying to see what more they can collect. Fear no one. You can see that as the Chinese team are still holding the ground. See what they're able to do. STJB very closely on the upper end of things.
All right, very unfortunate to see QI lose a member. 2 of their members were already in there in the circle, even in the next circle. Very safe. I think the last member that got cut off, he started to run a little bit late. He got too comfortable, so he got caught off guard. And let's hope that we don't see any of that happen, because we want to see some exciting fights break out very soon. The circle is getting super small. You guys can see that on the mini-map. And right now, all the teams, they don't want to get into a fight unless, like we just saw from Cheater, one person gets left behind, not Cheater, QI. One person gets left behind, they're going to wait for that pickoff. But unless you stick as 3, I don't think anybody's going to start a fight yet.
Oh, HH, you can saw a glimpse of that and see what they will be able to do in this third round. It will be all the more important for this Korean team to set a statement in this third round. We're now getting the closure of the circle, and the fights are starting to break out. Sky jump for Muda against the HOB. Again, retaliate just a little bit. FNO coming in now. The Chinese, they're going to be next to everyone at the moment. 2 Chinese teams right next to each other. But nothing happening in terms of interaction. Fear no one, just going to be holding show. STJB really right beside each other. Not the idiot, but the strike sapper onto so many members. And HH surprisingly stays still after that one. Does not lose a member in the meantime. But HOB losing 2 members just like that.
Alright, well, we do see all the other teams, all the 8 teams fight except for the 2 Chinese teams that are playing the outskirts. They're playing it safe. Just not getting into a fight. I'm pretty sure they're going to just be watching to see if there's any opportunities. But until then, going to see the kill feed go up from all the other teams.
Okay, we're going to see what FNO can do. Still STJB right next to them, but no fight breaking out. That is a little bit surprising. But we're going to see what happens from here. Blackout hiding behind these walls. HA is trying to keep the ground as well. Does bring a Master Hong in. We're going to see what happens from here. CT losing a member like that. Muda still going to see what they can do inside these housing. PGG, Penganji from Taipei. See what their options are. See, the 2 Chinese teams are still there.
Yeah, but
nothing happening for them.
Exactly, but I think it's SDJB that are playing it a little bit aggressive. I saw them come in for a little bit to join the fight. Yeah, you guys can see it right there behind the wall.
HH picking up that kill onto that member of Muda
yes,
Muda.
there we go.
We're going to see what happens now. SDJB now going in on this fight. Another gravity surge. We're going to see what happens with all this. QI trying to make sure they can collect as much as they can from this interaction. Penganji, you can see that 5C is going to be still there.
Gotta get in, gotta get in.
Everyone trying to get in here, and you can see the Master Hong having summoned, and everybody dragged in. SDJB with the Master Hong has so much damage all across, and we're going to see the end of all this. 10 members left in this game. QI, you can see a little bit of SDJB. And what are we going to get at the end of all of this?
Fear no one once again procking that heal. SDJB and Fear no one, the 2 teams that has the most members alive. SDJB even having a Master Hong out with the heals procking. I think they're going to be able to last long. We'll see. A lot of members are very low on HP.
Yeah, Howran got a little bit of healing going on, but it's going to be them against SDJB with QI. Looking like they want to put in a statement. FNO, what can you do with a little bit of SDJB mixed in there? The Strength Sapper is going to miss, but we are going to look at QI with 2 members still wanting to fight through this one. Howran is still staying strong here with 1 member of Xiaoqiu from STJB trying to do what he did last round. Do it once again. See how knocked out.
Oh,
but
Xiao still gets in.
Junohan, HH, the team from Korea, still having a tough time trying to find a winning angle to this one.
He's alone. He's alone right now. We have the 2 Chinese team versus that 1 member from Korea, but he does get knocked out. And 2v2 against the 2 Chinese teams.
FNO versus STJB. What's going to come out of this one? Fear no one versus STJB. Master Hong is still going strong as we see Haran with the Destroyer do as much as he can.
Basically keeping Master Hong busy while these two do a 1v1, but it's Jaifu Chen. They have to team up on it because Jaifu definitely a great dance player.
Aran does go down, so it's going to be 2v1 in the favor of STJB. So 2 rounds in a row. This Chinese team might just be able to win another one. Jacques, can he get the important hit with the Master Hong? That's going to be the all-important hit here.
Aerials. Free aerial with the ascent. Damage going through. Another aerial.
That is going to be it. See how? No way for him to get out of that one. And that will be STJB picking up that win once again here for the second round in a row. And suddenly, fear no one, while that was a team that we were looking at from the first round, second and third round told us otherwise. STJB picking up another win, and they are very much on their way to winning this World Championships.
Oh yeah, back-to-back wins, even though round number 2 win was only 35 compared to Fear No One's 40-point win in round number 1. Still, back-to-back number 1 first place is definitely going to bring them up into first place. And while the 2 Chinese teams, they are so smart. Like you saw them at the end when the circle was so small, they don't fight. They didn't fight each other. They knew fighting right now, even when the circle was small, is unnecessary.
I mean, they were right next to each other, but still no fight has broken up. That has surpassed me as understanding how this game works, but feels like whatever they've been doing, they're doing it right, because these 2 Chinese teams have been collecting points and they've been doing it right. And now it feels like SCJB and Fear No One, these 2 teams have completely toppled the charts, and there's not many teams right now that can follow up to their sleeve.
Yep, and like I said, round number 3 will determine whether the bottom tier teams have a possibility of getting first or not. But look at this scoring right now, 39-32, 28. So if you're at least into top 4 and possibly even top 5, you guys will get good enough points, right? But that only matters if you were consistent enough to accumulate enough points to have the possibility. But once again, the bottom 4, bottom 3 teams, it may just be a little bit hard for them if they haven't had one single round out of the 3 to still have a chance.
Yeah, very, very important here. And you can see that everything going around has been going towards China's way, and definitely really dominating the charts right now after 3 rounds with 1 last round to go. The grand finals of the 2019 World Championship will be right back to close out today. Welcome back, everyone. We are here at the World Championship. of 2019 of Blade and Soul Tournament. And this is the very last round that we're going to have. And we are looking at the Global Secret Code. But, look guys, it is only for Korea, Taipei, and Japan. All you guys from the western side of the world. Not applicable for this code, so don't bother putting it on your client. This is only for Korea, Taipei, and Japan as we give out the Global Secret Code #1. But we will give out another code later on, so you guys have to wait on for that. But for now, just know that it is only applicable to Korea, Taipei, Japan. But with that out of the way, ending, we are down to the very last round. The Chinese teams, as expected, dominating once again in the grand final. You just can't be as consistent as they are. Can they actually do it to win the World Championship in the end?
And I think, as you say, the two Chinese teams, first place SDJB, second place Fear No One, and they're only 2 points apart, which means they have the highest possibility, obviously. However, realistically, I think all the way up to 6th place right now, who is Blackout, who has 75 points, is possible for them, if they get a first place with roughly 40-point first place in this last round, it's possible for them to win, because the least point that we got from a single team in a single round was 16. So let's just say, for instance, SDJB or Fear No One gets 16 points. It's going to be roughly 100, something around 110 to 115. And if the sixth place team, who has 75, gets a 40-point, it's still possible to topple the first and the second place team to get that first place if the first and the second place get 16 points.
So as you did say,
that's a very low possibility.
Hey, but look at this. We are looking at the ranking currently after 3 rounds. SDJB jumping up 2 spots to get that first place at the moment with 98 points. Fear No One at 96, HAH from Korea at 80, C-Team Cheaters from Thailand dropping 2. Now they're at 78 with Muda from Vietnam still holding strong at 77. And you saw that Blackout was at 75 at 6th place. Anything is possible here, ending. Feels like those top 6 are the teams that we should be looking at. You see Thailand in there, you see Vietnam in there, you see Russia, Korea, and of course the 2 Chinese teams that are looking very strong at the moment. Any of those 6 teams right now could win this World Championship. It depends on who gets first, and it depends on the other teams right now in the top 6 getting a low placement. So really, everything is up in the air. So much at stake with 1 more round to go. That beautiful trophy will go home to the region that plays the best Shackled Owls. Let's get to round number 4 for the very last round of this World Championship. And the final drop of this sword indicates the beginning of the end of this World Championship. We've had 2 weeks of this incredible action that we tried for the first time in Shackled Owls for so many rounds to decide out of the 9 regions that we have invited over to this tournament who will be the one to take it home tonight, because so far China has been the one to take home that beautiful cup that you see in front of your screen. Seems like China can do it with 1 more good round, and just based on the credibility alone, you think they would do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you guys saw how they played. They played super safe. They don't get into fights, even though an enemy is right next to them. Unless they come at them for the first time, if that's not the case, they're gonna just play it passive, super passive, and they're not gonna get into a fight unless they get an opportunity to get into a fight, like we saw in round number 3, especially, where everybody was fighting and the 2 Chinese teams, they were basically just watching. They were just being the cheerleaders of the fight that was going on. So we'll see if the other teams saw that and decide to do the same thing and basically not fight until literally all 10 teams get into a crazy, chaotic fight.
And that is all 30 people as we saw in round 3 do exactly that. But 6 players just out in the open, literally sitting in the spectator seat, just watching the fights as they go on, and you ended up with 30 down to 25, then down to 20, and eventually you got down to around 10. Then the Chinese players jumped in. I mean, you see how obvious that can be, but in the heat of the moment, it feels like the players just don't have enough composure to be patient enough to just kind of let the fights be right. So we're going to have to see what the Chinese team can do, and on the other hand, how the other teams will react to the Chinese teams as they probably prepare the same strategy to secure the championship.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens in this last round. We'll have a couple spirit wall closes until a fight actually begins. But I was very curious before this last round started to see if anybody was gonna hot drop the Chinese team to take over their throne, but it seems like they're gonna leave the Chinese teams alone. I'm not promoting any hot drops or team, not teaming, but just getting the first place down so your team can have a chance of getting that first place to eliminate the first top 2 or even the top 3 teams. I would include that Korean team HJH in top 3, very close with the other 2 Chinese teams. So basically you hot drop the top 3 teams to eliminate them early to have a chance at getting first place, because now after this round 4, depending on your placement, the prize money changes as well for your team.
I guess the one important thing that we've learned throughout this short experiment that we had with Shackledown in this tournament format is that you just have to survive all 3 members. That seems to be the #1 priority for any team, whether you're down at the bottom place or whether you are one of these Chinese teams right now who are holding the top spots. Hot dropping them, yeah, I mean, sure, you can get the top teams out, but what if you lose a member or 2 in the process? Really it feels like it just doesn't give you much of a reward for the risk that you're taking, and we know we have other battle royale genres out there that you could sacrifice a member here and there as long as you get more than what you lost, right? But I don't know, it just feels like the hot dropping doesn't provide itself as an option as it seems, but we have a lot more time with the Shackledown over the long-term future in Blade and Soul, and I'm sure we'll see varieties of strategies here and there for the teams that we see. But we see and we hear some sort of fighting going on.
Yes, we do, but we're looking at the minimap. It's just not a fighting, it's just spirit wall damage.
It's Brother Bill fighting its nature.
Yeah, he's
literally
fighting with the wall.
And he's losing.
Yes, he is. Oh my goodness, he took so much damage, and that was a first circle.
We have confirmed that Brother Bill does not beat the spirit wall.
No, he doesn't.
Definitely.
If he beat the spirit wall, he would have beaten the game.
Hey,
basically.
You know what?
He would have been the GM.
I'm sure he would have done that at one point in his career. Brother Bill breaking the game? Are you serious? I mean, why not? He's Brother Bill. He can do whatever he wants.
Break the game, Brother
Exactly.
Bill. But anyways, you guys see everybody just playing passive. We'll see if all the other teams, to be honest, that fought in round number 3 and even round number 1 and 2, where the 2 Chinese teams basically played it super smart, super patient, and waited until all the big fights finished through. They saw that. All the other teams noticed that. We'll see if all the other teams would allow that to happen to any other team, not only the Chinese team, but any team that decides to be the spectator of a huge fight. You can pull them in with the gravity surge. There's a lot of options that you can deal with the spectating team. So we'll see if these teams, if they get into a chaotic fight, maybe they'll have a designated player to basically pull in all the other spectating teams.
It could be the ironic situation of the performer throwing the tomato at the audience.
Yeah.
It's literally throwing the strength zapper at those 3 players watching from the stands, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything could happen, and just as ironic as it may sound, if the Chinese teams are the first teams to go out in this 4th round, they do not get that first place victory because some other team will definitely get enough points to make sure they take away that championship trophy away from the Chinese. So right now, the top 2 teams at the moment from 3 rounds on have been the Chinese teams of STJB and Fear No One. But right now, nothing is decided as of at the moment. So we'll have to see if the Chinese teams, as you can see, one of them right now, and STJB,
basically gatekeeping them.
Yeah, I mean, with the 6 member strong they have at the moment, protecting the wall of China, I mean, doing pretty well for themselves at the moment.
It seems like we get to see from time to time the map, but the 2 Chinese teams, they met for a moment But it's not only the two Chinese teams, everybody, all the regions. If you see a three-man team across you, you're going to rotate around. You're not going to get into a fight. And we've seen that from any other teams as well. So you saw that right now. The two Chinese teams, they, unknowingly took different routes now after seeing each other. Everybody else is rotating in. And even in the Eastern region, when there's three teams basically close to each other, right now on your screen, they're not fighting. They know it's not worth it to fight right now. And this has been the trend. This has been the meta of this early game for a 30-man shackled out.
And it seems like it will go on as such in this very much the last round of this tournament. Fourth round in the grand finals, where we had a total of 10 rounds. Very much planned for this World Championship of 2019. It's been a great year. A brand new system applied to the esports section of Bladeandsoul, and the players seem to have taken it pretty well, as the kind of more experienced players seem to still bring a lot of success into their game, despite the totally new game change mode, where we thought it might just bring new, brand new players up to the kind of the spotlight here and there. But it seemed like that, as you kind of mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast, that the offline experience and being in this stage where the people are watching over you, where you know that the stream, you have people watching over you, still to do well, I think it has to do a lot with stage presence.
Exactly. And yeah, the early, there we go, the Manticore. But I was going to say, the first couple Spirit Wall circles, we're not going to be seeing a lot of fights, except for maybe a Manticore duel. But even then, these players are so used to each other of how they play, especially when a Manticore comes out and a Manticore fight happens. They basically burst it down and group summon to run away. They don't burst it down, group summon into a fight. So, we've seen this the past 3 rounds, so we're used to this by now. And the circle is getting smaller and smaller, and even this circle, we say small, but it's not small enough to start the fight of these 30 players.
And you saw that the Manticores were at least, as we know, were picked up by Muda Muda and Blackout. They kind of had it for free, not much competition there from the western side and the southern side respectively, but HH, we know how much they like the Manticore. It seems like Yoonjae was able to pick up that Master Hong buff, as you can see on the #1 indicator. But we are seeing them very close by to another team. It is Cheater coming in from Thailand, and they've had a pretty mixed result while they are still in top 5. It hasn't been convincing in round 3, where it really is clutch time for those guys to really turn it up a notch to make sure that this round is the one that could potentially give Thailand the first ever World Championship victory.
Yeah. And the Strength Sap already, charging it. Ooh, didn't work. I think one of the members of Cheater used the Gravity Surge, didn't get a pull, and that Strength Zapper and the Gravity Surge went to waste, but it's a good try. They are trying. Cheater definitely is a team with Muda Muda. These two teams, they are trying different styles. They are trying to kind of catch their opponents off guard. It's just that it's not working out the way they planned, but that's what always happens in games, right? If it goes always the way you plan, you're always going to get first, and it hasn't been going that way for some of the teams here, but points for trying.
Really is important, because those two regions I should mention, Thailand and Vietnam, never have once even gotten close to winning the World Championship for Bladeandsoul, and this is their best chance yet, as one more round of trying these unconventional route to play styles. If it does work out in this round, very well it could give them the World Championship victory, kind of taking away the fact that the Chinese teams, if they do get a low placement, it does give the other teams a better possibility. But for now, it seems like the Chinese teams aren't going away anytime soon. Both SCJB and Fear No One looking like they want to stay strong and remain their current position to at least swap back between that #1 and #2 spot.
Yep, and this team right now on your screen, HAH. This team, 3rd place right now, but they're still roughly 18 points and 16 points away from the 1st and the 2nd, respectively. And unless 1st and the 2nd place team just get eliminated early, like I said before, HAH, even though they're in 3rd, they still need to pick up a couple more kills than the 1st and the 2nd place team in order for them to dethrone the teams that are on top of them. And right now, obviously, you're not gonna go super aggressive just for kills like Joel was talking about before. You know, what if you lose a member? This is not gonna be like other battle royales where a 2-member team can still do a 2v3 or 2v5 even when there's more than one team going at you. So they're playing it safe. It's smart. But once again, on the other hand, they still need to pick up a kill. They need to at least have a good third party to pick up a lot of kills before this round ends.
Well, here they are once again. The 6 spectators that we saw from round 3 have so much success. SDJB and Fear No One. Oh, now the spectating might begin because we are seeing Mr. X fight breaking out between them and QI.
QI taking out Mr. X and one member, Alexi from Blackout.
Okay, so we're going to see what comes out as a result of all this. HOB on very low health with HJH figuring out what to do with their own situation. Yuntae taking out QI's member Cal. And we're going to see what this next situation will be for Blackout as we see the Master Hong being summoned. HJH still holding on to their Master Hong to see a better timing for that summon.
All right, well, already 4 members eliminated pretty early. I have to say this is early because the circle's still big enough for all these chaotic fights to break out. But we have already 4 members out. And for the teams that have lost a member on their teammates, now they really have to play passive because this is the last round. If you want any point, if you want to rank up, maybe not even for first, but just to get more prize money, you have to play passive. You have to get the rank points. You have to throw good strength zappers from afar and land it.
And this is as many deaths as we've ever seen in today's competition, where we already lost 4 members in this relatively larger circle. So gonna have to see what the other players respond, how they respond to all of this. See Blackout with the Master Strong ready to go for Tema. Let's see what happens here because we know that Blackout has been having a little bit of trouble along this angle. Losing a member in the process with Fear No One now starting to move along this angle to see what the better position ought to be.
They have taken some damage, but they're hiding once again. They're always SDJB though. They're gonna get in a fight, and they're HJH, the 3rd place team and the 1st place team are duking it out right now with the gravity surge. Everybody just getting dragged behind the tent.
Okay, the group summon is gonna be procced by HJH, but there's still so many members waiting to take advantage of all this. SDJB coming in strong on this one. This might be the last chance for the Koreans to take it. But Yoonjae is so low on health, he's only 1 hit away. And now he gets the matchup, but it's a little too late. So that's a poor timing for the summon there for the Koreans. They will lose a crucial member. Now we're gonna have everybody just go out here. SDJB pick up all those kills. You can see that Blackout losing members. And all those kills coming for the Strength Zapper. That is so many kills.
Not gonna heal you.
And if you're no one picking up all those kills against SDJB completely wiped out. And now this Fear No One team, the other team from China, 1 step closer to winning this World Championship. We have 9 members remaining here. Red campaign Ganji do tie papers in China, but it is gonna be Fear No One. Oh, the Strength Zapper! The Strength Zapper from the Vietnamese.
I missed it.
I think it missed just a little bit. But we do have 1 member from Fear No One out of this game. Now we have the Vietnamese wanting to take really the hold of this, but great action coming from the Chinese with Fear No One eliminating basically everybody from the field.
SDJB eliminated a lot of the big group summons. And then it was Fear No One coming up, cleanup duty. And then after that, it's been Muda. Even though they lose a player right now, they came in, they picked up a lot of kills here.
And what can the Vietnamese do? Still with 3 members. Zihao will die out. So FNO all of a sudden just does not have as much as they thought they would. Now Penganji just trying to move it onto this action. 5 members left remaining, and 3 of them are Muda. The Vietnamese want to finish strong. How many kills can they actually get? It seems like Kid T is going to go out in the end. It's going to be Fear No One. Last member, Haoran, versus the 3 members from the Vietnamese. There's no way this Destroyer is going to win 1v3. But how long can he stand here? The Muda. That's going to be the Strength Zapper to finish things out. And the Vietnamese collect 33 points with a lot of kills, I'm sure, because I've seen with my own visual eyes so many kills going over to the Vietnamese.
All right, right now something very exciting might just happen. There we go with the secret. Global secret code number 2, be the champion, is the code. Write that down, not in the chat, but in the code box in the game. But Fear No One plays second place, I think. But Mura stayed alive. Did they have all 3 members? I thought it was 2
They
members.
had all 3. They had all
Did
3.
they?
Yes.
Oh,
so that's
goodness.
what makes the difference, because
That's gonna be huge.
now, but the important point is Fear No One now definitely placing over SDJB. There's no question about that. Look at that, 28 to 35. So maybe Muramura just did not have enough with 3 more points. And Fear No One just collected so many kills, all for that strength 7. That was absolutely huge.
Yeah, and I'm looking right now, even though Mura got first place, Fear No One and even SDJB getting 35 and 28 points, they were already first and second. This is gonna be close, but I still think at least one of the 2 Chinese teams will have that first place at the end of the day.
Hey, it feels like Fear No One to me. The 7-point difference just might be good enough, but we have to wait for the final results.
Yep.
To make it all official. But the Vietnamese guys, they seem very happy about what just happened.
Oh yeah, I would be too.
It might not be first place for them, but they will get a very high standing. That has been completely unexpected out of this much later region. What we called that, because the patches come in way later than the other regions, as we know, and the Vietnamese have been struggling through that in competitive play because of that region. But now we come in here in 2019, shocking everybody that the Vietnamese can actually do it in this format, and really feel that they got the deserving result out of it all.
Yeah, well, until we see the final results, we can only calculate in our heads so many numbers. So we'll have to wait it out to see what the rankings will be, the final rankings after the calculations of that 4th round. But I think both Fear No One and SDJB, they both did a great job at the end with everybody just getting gravity surged here and there.
Okay, look at this. World champion will be Fear No One from China. Now count me if I'm wrong on this. This might be the first
Oh,
World
now they
Championship
know.
win.
Okay, I was like, they were sitting and they had no expressions.
Oh man,
they got a delayed reaction. They're happy.
They know what this means. China getting a win in the World Championship. We knew them. This region of China in Blade and Soul has always been an elite region. We know that. But have they won a World Championship before?
From what I remember, no. From the 5 years that I've casted Blade and Soul plus the World Championships, I don't think I've seen a Chinese team actually get first place.
Wow.
Either in 1v1s, 3v3, or even in a mix and match.
There was no doubt. There was never a doubt that this region of China has always been one of the strongest regions in Blade and Soul. But to really criticize and really prove that claim is now in 2019 by winning this World Championship. And congratulations over to Fear No One, the team from China who has done it from the beginning. They look like one of the best teams, and now they prove they are the best team in this 2019 tournament.
Well, like we said over and over, both the Chinese teams playing it very stable. They knew the gameplay. They knew the gameplay to win, to stay at the top of the table for the whole 4 rounds, and even throughout the qualifying matches of 6 rounds. So they definitely figured it out. They know how to play the game. They know when to get in. They know when to get out. But right now, this is all that matters to them, to this region, that they have become the world champions.
And holding up that trophy means everything to these guys. It means everything to their region. China has always been touted as one of the best teams and one of the best regions in the world. And now they prove it today with these 3 guys holding up the trophy. We're going to be right back with the award ceremony, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to celebrate China tonight.
네, 블레이드 앤 소울 세계
Welcome back everyone to the award ceremony for the Blade and Soul World Championship 2019. We will now be awarding all the outstanding performers of this tournament. We've had many individuals and teams alike do just as well to bring exactly what was needed for them to bring themselves to glory. We're going to see exactly who will be receiving the accolades tonight for their incredible accomplishments. Let's give a round of applause to all the players who have worked incredibly hard for
우리
this
멋진
last 2
무대를
weeks.
만들어줬던 선수들에 대한 시상식으로 이어드리도록 하겠습니다.
We will now be
자, 첫
continuing
번째
with
순서는요, 모스트
the award
프로그레시브
ceremony.
상입니다. 자,
This is
로지텍
gonna
게이밍
be
기어 세트가
the most
주어지는데요.
progressive
오늘
award,
무대에서
so
가장
indicating
눈에 띄는 활약을
who
선보인 팀들에
performed
대한 시상이
just
되도록
as well,
하겠습니다.
and it was
가장
just as
짧은 시간
aggressive.
동안 가장 큰
I say
성장을
CT or Mura.
모스트
I mean, really, any team that has shown the most improvement over the last 2 weeks could win in
자,
this one.
시상에는
Who do
로지텍
you
코리아의
think it is?
윤재영
It's really tough, but I say Muda or CT. CT has just looked just good, but Muda, I'm telling you, today was the most improvement I've seen for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm very curious. And now we're gonna get the person who will give the award to the most progressive team.
He looks ecstatic to
Yes.
give the award. So he is
VIP.
Korea Country Manager
프로그레시브
Jeff Yoon
상입니다.
here to
Is he the
present the award.
manager of the whole
오히려
Korea?
출발하면서
Korea Country Manager. Hey man,
I don't know.
I am not
I have
downing.
no idea.
I am not downing any vocabulary, but he will do the honors of presenting the award to, I think, a very, very good reward, good award.
모스트 프로그레시브
Most progressive
Okay.
award.
축하합니다. 중국의 SDJB입니다.
Oh, it's gonna be SDJ from
Okay.
China. So
Okay.
that we can see because I
SDJ
think
참 멋진
they were
모습을
always seen
보여주면서
as the second
좋은
best
성적을
Chinese
계속해서
team,
거듭
but now
보여줬고요.
today they seem
1위
like
자리를
at moments
비록
they
아쉽게
were the best
마지막에
team in the
놓치긴
tournament.
했습니다만은
Yeah.
오늘 아주
SDJB
좋은
in the
활약을
qualifying
보여줬습니다.
rounds, as we know it. But they did well. And they do have Jaifu Chen and the other members as well to support the team, kind of make a great team. And I understand why they got the most progressive. It would have been, I think, like CT or Muda, I still think
Yes.
they definitely improved very much in a very short period of time. But SDJB doing so well compared to what they did in qualifying matches. They do deserve it.
Yeah, I think in the end, there's no doubt that SDJB at moments of today's finals, they look like one of the best teams right now, if not the
이제
best.
블레이드 앤 소울 팬들은 이제 비뭇 시절부터 굉장히 호전적인 선수들을
Okay,
많이
so
사랑해주고
we
계신데요.
we're
이번
gonna
그랜드
award the
파이널
next
전장을 휩쓸고 다니면서
reward for
진정한 여포의 모습을
We're gonna see the most
보여줬던
aggressive
선수에게
player, it
주어지는
seems
상입니다.
like, for the next award.
모스트 킬 상수에
Most kills.
드리도록 하겠습니다.
That's pretty easy to say.
Yeah, most kills.
인텔
It's as a
코리아의
team,
권명수
not a player,
대표께서
but
수고해
for the
주시도록
team.
하겠습니다.
Yep, okay.
박수로 환영해 주십시오.
So we're gonna see who's gonna be awarded with the most kills awarded. So this is a representative from Intel Korea. It's a main sponsor of this tournament. You can see that in many of the logos that we've seen for this tournament, Intel has always been there. So incredible support from these guys. The president from Intel Korea actually, wow, coming in here to present this award today.
We're getting some big names here today.
Oh yes,
We got the manager of Korea.
Come on, you still can't get off it. You still can't get off
I
that.
can't. Well, it went
my
out.
God.
I can't. I'm not gonna let that go. But and now we get the president from Intel.
Korea
So
country manager and the president of Intel Korea. Hey,
Yeah.
why not?
yeah. Now we're gonna just keep getting
선수가
presidents and
있습니다.
managers up
Okay.
here to present.
자, 피오노원의 시오준지 선수입니다. 여러분
Oh, we're gonna
박수로
get
주십시오.
Yeah.
an individual
It's
player.
gonna be
Okay,
individual
I thought it was
players,
a team.
11 kills though. 11
That's a
kills
lot.
awarded. So we will present the award. The player I did this out. It's
자,
gonna be
시오준지
Fear No One.
선수는
Xiaojun.
혼자서만 11킬을
Collecting
기록하면서
11
자,
kills throughout
팀의
this
좋은
tournament.
활약을
Incredible results for him, and I'm saying he has done so much for this team. It eventually became the
자,
championship team,
모스키를 수상한
and really
피오노원의
it's a
팀의
deserving award for
시오준지
this guy.
선수에게는 최고 사양의 CPU가
The funny thing is,
노트북이
today we got the
상품으로
MVP
수여되도록
from
하겠습니다.
Team China.
그러면 다시 한번
We got first place
축하해 주십시오.
from China. We got the most kill from today is the day for China.
I mean, it's a celebration for China all across.
They played well, they deserved it, and they're taking all the awards.
And the thing is, I mean, starting from last week, you saw Chinese teams at second and third really just topping the charts, showing us that right now, at this present time, the best teams from China are the best teams in the world in Shotgun at the moment.
Yeah.
NC소프트의 민보영
as you
퍼블리싱
said-
2센터장을 박수로 모시겠습니다. 여러분 박수로 환영해 주십시오.
So from NCSoft is what I heard. But as I was saying, we saw not only Korea but Russia last year performing well. And I think it's just swaying away from Korea always winning. And you know, as a
That's a
global
good thing.
tournament,
That's a
it's
good thing.
definitely a great thing. Head of
자,
Publishing.
인텔 블레이드
Okay.
소울 토너먼트
Okay.
2019 월드 챔피언십. 자, 퀄리파잉 라운드 8위로 진출을 해서 당당히 그랜드 파이널 무대를 섭렵하고 이 자리를 차지했습니다. 이 팀이 3위까지 가리라고는
And we're going to
예상하지
go to the
못했는데요.
third place team.
베트남의 무다입니다.
It is going to be Muda from Vietnam. I mean, I think my biggest applause
사실
goes to these guys
굉장히
because
공격적인 성향을 선보이면서
I mean, for Vietnam to receive such an accolade as a region in the Bladeandsoul theme, it is an incredible accomplishment for these guys, and close to $15,000 in prize money for these guys. What a day for these!
A great day for these guys. As the Korean caster said, they came up as the 8th place team. No, like CT came up as the 10th place team. And both of these regions, both of these teams, they played great. And Muda getting 3rd place deserved to be up on that stage to celebrate today.
Yeah, what a day for Vietnam tonight, because while we are celebrating China for all the success they really showed us tonight, it is really Vietnam that has been an incredible region, shown so much, especially in that last round.
2위 시상에는요.
So I think we're going to go to the
NC소프트의 심승보
second
사업총괄
place.
디렉터께서 수고해 주시겠습니다. 여러분
We're going to
박수로
present the
환영해
award
주십시오.
for our second place winner.
All right. Second place. He's not the winner.
Well, Andy Life,
Yeah.
thank you for that information. But he is a chief publishing director
자,
for
인텔
NCSoft.
블레이드&소울 토너먼트
Here
2019
for us
월드
to
챔피언십.
present this
자,
award.
사실 챔피언이라고 불려도 손색이 없을 정도의 아주 훌륭한 기량을 경기력을 선보인
how do you
팀입니다.
really see SDJB?
사슬군도
Just
전장에
an
대한
incredible team. They
아주
got the most
뛰어난
improved
이해도가
award,
돋보였던
but
팀이라고
more
들을 수가
importantly, pick
있겠는데요.
up the second place.
인텔 블레이드&소울
great
토너먼트
team right now,
2019
right?
월드 챔피언십 2위
This team, and if you know one,
중국의 SDJB입니다.
here we go. SDJB, as we were saying, SDJB and Fear No One, both of these guys, like, I wouldn't be surprised if SDJB was first and Fear No One was second.
Exactly.
Like, if anything, if it was vice versa, it would still be like, all right, yeah, they both played great. They both knew how to win the game.
Completely agree with you, Andy,
영광을 차지하게
because
됐습니다.
$30,000 equivalent over to the China's SDJB. Very, very deserving. They've been strong ever since the first day of this tournament. From the qualifying rounds, they look like one of the strongest teams, and here they are looking like they are the second place team. And really, to no shame, because the first place given away from them was another Chinese team. So it's a win nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely. And they were only 4 points behind.
Incredible.
So that's very, very close. That's literally just one player just staying alive for a couple more players before they die.
1 minute, maybe?
대망의 1위.
Exactly.
But I guess we're going to be moving on to our first place
사실
team.
새로운
And
태양이 뜨기 쉽지 않다.
we don't
기존의
even
강호들이
need, you guys already know who they are.
You already know. You already know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And we're going to get the first place
중국을
and
새로운
representing
e스포츠의
the
강국으로
award.
그리고 새로운 블레이드앤소울
And really,
사슬군도의
I think
강국으로
the
자리매김하게
announcer right now on the front is saying
이들의
exactly what
우승은
it's needed.
이변이
Just
아닌
cementing
필연이다.
a new strength in
오늘의
Bladeandsoul that
대망의
hasn't been
우승
present as much before.
피아노 원입니다.
Okay, fear no one. You guys know it. You guys knew it. We knew it. You knew it. This is right now the strongest team in the world in the Shacklehouse category. And the
사슬군도로
closest
펼쳐진 글로벌 최초의 대회
$60,000 presented.
인텔
for these
블레이드앤소울
guys.
토너먼트
What a
2019
team.
월드 챔피언십 초대
And you know,
챔피언으로
they
그
didn't win
역사에
just by watching. They didn't win just by
아로새겨질 그
spectating.
이름.
One of the members in this team got the most kills
There you go.
award. So they're not just sitting by. They know how to kill. They know how to spectate. They know exactly how this game works. and they deserve
자,
this first place
사슬군대의
win.
초대 세계 챔피언
Hey man, they know how to drop the big bombs.
Oh,
when it's
yeah.
needed. The strength sappers when it's needed to get 5 kills in a row. Man, I mean, you don't take that anything away from these guys from winning that trophy and really lifting it up. This means so much for China. This means so much for the future of their Blade and Soul because so many times, many have said that China was one of the strongest regions, but not many people have said that they are the strongest region. That was always a different story that has been against them for so many years. Last year we thought it may be about China, but Russia took over. But 2019, I think they deservedly really pick up this accolade once again and really gain that title of being the best in the world.
Yeah, and this, like you said, we were talking about how they were very close at times, but they never have won the Worlds. But finally they win it. They take the title of the best in Shackle. We'll see if this will remain because Blackout, who won last year, unfortunately didn't do well this year. They placed 6th place. So I guess we'll see if they will be able to keep this first place and ongoing champion up to next year.
Yeah, very important point, but we're gonna go and talk with the Chinese players to see how they feel.
国服这里很多年了，终于夺冠了。
몇 년 동안 고생했는데 드디어
We worked hard for so many years, but I think the
본인들은 이
hard work
대회에
finally paid off.
참여할 때 예상 순위를 몇 위 정도로
What
생각했었는지
place did you
궁금해요.
honestly expect you to be at the end of this tournament?
当时感觉就凭运气吧，就反正往前面冲。
그냥 앞순일 것으로만 생각했습니다.
We thought that we would be one of the top teams, but never really had a specific number.
얘기로 들리는데 본인들이 오늘 우리가 우승할
Did you
것
feel
같다
that any
이런 예감이
moment
언제쯤 딱 오던가요?
that you guys actually were gonna win it all in the end?
第一把我们完美开局吧，天乎气色。
첫 라운드 때.
첫
I think the first round really cemented it for us. Okay.
Well, 40 round first round, 40 point first round. I would feel the same.
Exactly.
Today is a feel good day.
It is.
그 중에서도 좀 팀원들 간에도 좀 칭찬해주고 싶은
Any teammate that you want to really just pick out of the great plays they made in contribution to the victory tonight?
You have to pick one.
Hey man, you can't pick all three. That ain't fair. You don't do
You
that.
have to pick daddy or mommy. You can't pick both.
He's having a really tough time with that question. I mean, oh goodness, man. I mean, he can play Blade and Soul, but he really can't answer that question.
徐孝军，对对对。
이 선수를 칭찬하고 싶다고 합니다.
Well, the player that she's pointing at, that's the player you want to. For what reason?
他大赛心态
I think he got the most kills.
He did.
마인드가 되게
okay.
굳건해서.
Okay, so solid mindset.
마인드가 굉장히
Is kind of what's
단단해서
been.
오늘 우승에
And it
견인차가
really
된
is.
것
I
같다고
think
하는데
good fundamentals
본인이
always
생각하기에는
goes a long
본인의
way.
선수
Definitely a credibility for that.
And also, I think you don't get tilted. You don't get shaken up easily.
Exactly.
It's another reason that you need a strong
我的队友对我极大的帮忙嘛，是赢是一个团队的。
다른 선수들의 도움이 있어서
I was able to
가능했던
do
거라고
well
합니다.
because of the
목소리를
support I
들어보니까 역시
got from
마인드도
so
굳건한
many
목소리도 굉장히
different
굳건한데
players, and
자
my
오늘
teammates did such
우승
a
상금이
good
무려
job of helping me
6천만
out.
원입니다. 6천만 원의 상금.
Well, you got about
이렇게 쓰고 싶다.
60,000
예전에
US
좀
dollars
그려봤던
equivalent
그림이 좀
in
궁금하네요.
Korean won. How do you feel about spending that in the smartest way possible?
저금을 할
We're
예정입니다.
going to try to save that money up and maybe use it for the better in
미래에
the
대한
long
어떤
run.
확고한 계획이 있는.
Do you have any
굳건한
specific
선수는
plans
또
for the
어떤 굳건한
future
계획이 있는지.
in terms of using that money later on?
有韩元的话，我肯定会把它存起来。
이분도 저축을 하신다고 합니다.
I'm looking to deposit as well. Everybody wanted to deposit. It's all about the savings account in 2019.
Future is important, man.
Hey, you know what? I don't know what happened in 2020, but right now in 2019, it's all about the savings account.
드리고 싶다고 합니다.
But he wants to give the money over to his parents as well. So what a man he is. I mean, you know, a good hey, you know what I'm gonna do though? A good man takes care of his parents no matter what. That's what I'm gonna say right now.
같이 가장 많은 도움을 주셔서 오늘 좀 이 자리를 빌어서
Of course,
감사의
I'm
인사를
sure you
전하고
received
싶은
a
분이
lot of
있다는
support
누가 있을까요?
along the way to get to where you are right now. Who do you want to give the credits out for? He doesn't know.
感谢父母的支持吧。
Maybe there's too many people.
부모님의 지지에
Of course,
감사드리고
the
싶다고
parent
합니다.
support is always an important thing that I always want to credit.
본인 통장으로 저축한다고 하고.
The question was, or you thank your parents, but you say you're gonna save it into your own bank account.
Oh, okay.
and not
Wow.
give it to your
Wow,
parents.
that's a different question
What
altogether.
happened?
자, 우리 피오노원이
He doesn't want to answer. No comment.
No comment for that one. All right, all
앞으로의
right.
각오와 포부가 있다면
Well,
선수로서
any
어떤
future
각오와 포부를
plans
지니고
as
있는지
to
궁금합니다.
how your careers will evolve from here?
明年再来一个。
내년에도 우승하겠습니다.
We're going to try to do exactly the same thing next
내년에도
year. Amen. That's what Blackout said last year. I remember that statement loud and clear.
That's what all world champions
There you go. Hey, but you know, in all in our honest heart, I really do hope that these three players can come back once again next year and do exactly the same. I would love to see that.
뭐 많은 분들이 얘기를 하십니다만 특히 사술군도에서 역사의 역할이 어느 정도 되느냐는 많은 분들의 의견이 엇갈리거든요. 그 역사를 사용해서 초대 챔피언의 자리에 올랐기 때문에
for
역사에
this
대해서 어떻게
World
생각하고
Championship
있는지
of
궁금해요.
Bladeandsoul Shackle-House, what do you think the big purpose of that class is, as being a very unpopular pick?
坚持不懈。
계속 연습을 해왔기 때문에
You have
계속
to practice,
연습했던
and
거
it's just a
때문에
result of all the
역사로
hard
이길 수
work that I
있어서
put in
너무
to
역사를
really
좀
bring in the
상대적으로
quality of the
저평가를 하고 있다.
destroyer that I
역사는
put in.
좀 사술군도에 어울리지 않는다라는
Many
이야기를
people
하는
do say
분들이
that
또
the
많이
destroyer
있는데
just doesn't
그분들에게
fit
또 한 말씀
Shackle-House very well,
해주신다면
but how do you think about that statement?
Yeah, say something to that person that says destroyer is bad.
And it's not just one person either.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
so
yeah.
many people saying destroyer is not good for
四
Shackle-House.
比三是当
I
刮目
wish he
相
says
看
don't。play.
刮目相看。
对。
이번 제가 경기한 걸로 사람들이 다르게 볼 거라고
I hope that people's opinions change based on what I've shown through my destroyer plays. Very good.
피오노원 선수도 잡아오고 있는 것 같습니다. 자, 다시 한번 우리
Alright,
최초로
well,
펼쳐진
that's what
사술군도
he had to say.
블레이드앤소울 사술군도
Good.
Destroyer is not
초대
bad.
챔피언입니다.
If you think it is,
피오노원에게
watch
여러분
my
다시 한번
plays and
뜨거운
learn.
박수
Amen.
부탁드리겠습니다.
You got to give the applause once again for these guys. They definitely deserve it. It's a little bit cold, so you can see the fans starting to leave a little bit, but we're still here. That's what matters. But I think we can start to say our goodbyes ending. It's been an incredible year once again for 2019. Bladeandsoul still lives on. And for myself, Joe Sophie, and Ending Live, I'm going to give you one more chance to say whatever you want to say because we're going to be out pretty soon.
Well, I hope we can get something delicious to eat because I'm cold. I want to get warmed up, but it was definitely a great tournament. It was actually a quick one considering it being a world champion. So I definitely enjoyed myself. I hope to see you guys next year once again with even a better update, better patch of Shackle-House.
Thank you all. Yeah, I mean, thank you all so much for sticking with us throughout this World Championship. We hope to see you next year, 2020. I think Bladeandsoul is going to be going on and on as long as we can remember. So thank you guys once again for watching. This was myself, Joe Sophie, signing out with my partner, Ending Live. And we will see you next year for the 2020 Bladeandsoul competition.
Come down, I think you're moving too fast. You better slow down. Straight up, he'd almost give you a blast, and now you're floating around. You can't see in your mind all the dreams there are to find. You cut me out, said you knew it all. So who will catch you right when you fall? Get up, don't you stay down. You're pushing my face back down to the ground. Don't you think it's now time for you to get away? Straight up, you dug your own hole with a toothpick, thought you'd dig yourself some gold. Don't you think it's now time to let it fade away? You built me up, but you made me out of clay. Look up, you see another bad dream. Is it washed all away? There's no way for you to pick up and leave. The same old shit, a different day. And now the sun won't shine, 'cause you killed out all the light. I'll never write, never call. Who will catch you right when you fall? Get up, don't you stay down. You're pushing my face back down to the ground. Don't you think it's now time for you to get away? Stay
차지한 이두 선수에게 축하의 박수를 부탁드립니다. 챔피언십의 우승! 이거는 뭐 역대급이에요. 세계 최정상의 우승